Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If anyone in the chat can hear me, just push 1. All right, we got a confirmation from Mega Montana. What's going on, Mega Montana? King Nick, salute. Kenny Burgess, peace. Yeah, welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 353, Black Car Talk. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible, hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust, including those posted on the community tab that we post very frequently. We posted something today. Yeah, I just wanted to have this dialogue because Paul Bryant sent out some emails about the C8, and we did cover some of it before, but last week, but we did not go into enough detail, maybe, and that's probably why Paul Bryant might have missed it. I know he's still in Germany, still doing his thing, so I wanted to open it back up. Hopefully, he gets on tonight or gets on right now. And if anybody else wants to get on, the link will be in the chat. Just click on the link. You'll be in the waiting room. Raise your hand so that you can be acknowledged and one of us can advance you to the panel. So yeah, I just actually came back from the dealership to go look at a C8 and found some interesting information. The C8, because the production has stopped, production won't pick up again until January 2020. The first shipments won't be until April. And second revelation that I found from the dealership, not all dealerships can carry a C8. Let me explain. So in order for you to carry it's cool, Paul Bryant. Yeah, and so in order for you to carry a C8 at your dealership, you have to be certified and licensed to do so from GM. Not all GM dealerships or not all Chevrolet dealerships can carry a C8. So you have to be moving volume, and you have to have a considerable amount of revenue, and you don't have that. If you don't have that, you won't be able to carry it. So what I found was that only one dealership in my area actually will carry the C8. There'll be 11 C8s at this dealership come January, and those are already mostly sold. And what I found was that the sales manager basically told me that the C8, everybody's waiting on the C8, and because of that, the C7s are just sitting on the lots. They got C7s, all 2019 models, just sitting there, collecting dust. I went and actually took some photos. Let me send those up real quick. All right, just give me a second. Let me share my screen. So this is the ZR1 that was at the dealership. Car has not been sold due to the fact that a lot of people are waiting on a C8. So that car has just been sitting there for quite some time. In person, the pictures don't do it justice, so you got to see it in person. It's definitely a dope car. He said it's going to lose. It's already been discounted 15,000 already from what it's been listed as, because they need to move the vehicle. They need to move it as soon as possible to make room for the C8s. And so there's going to be major discounts coming in on the cars. He said they already slashed the price down to almost down. If you have a GM discount, you can get a Z06 for 45K, 46K. So that's the way how they're moving these now, man. Brand new, 0 miles. They was going to try. I just came in there to actually ask about the C8, and they told me, if you want one of those Corvettes back there, you can have it now. Yeah, it looks dope in red, Mega Montana. It does look dope in red. Red's not my color. If anything, I would take that blue, the Grand Sport in blue, or Z06 in blue. I think it's called Cobalt. But definitely, I think, the pictures don't do it justice. I'm using the OnePlus 6T on the latest firmware, and yeah, the pictures don't do it justice. I definitely think. Let me let Super Triz in real quick. I definitely think, man, these are going to be really, really easy grabs in the next 9 months, he said, because they still have to ramp up production for C7s. Now, what I'm suspecting is this: the C8, you won't see those at Enterprise or Budget for rental. They're not going to rent those at all. Those cars that get made will be sold almost immediately if they're not already sold. So I think they need to keep the C7 production going to satisfy the Budget, Enterprise, and the rest of these car sharing rental places, because they probably already put their orders in, right? So, and they need to be backfilled. But based on the conversation I just had a few minutes ago at the dealership, he said the C7's just been sitting there. They've been sitting there for over a year. People have been waiting on that C8, and the ones who did put their order in, they're waiting for their car to ship after January 31st. And those who did not get their orders in, they'll have to wait until April. And that the C7's just going to sit there until that time. They're going to slash the price even more by April, May. So he said by April, May, you'll probably see a lot of C7s, Z06s going for 47K, 45K, Grand Sports going for 42, 43K. So I don't know, man. I was going to test drive this, man. We walked around and was going to test drive it, and I didn't have a whole lot of time. Here's my initial thoughts on the C7, because I haven't driven a C7 before. I've been in them before, but I've never driven one. I don't like the seat and position, the posture that the vet puts you in. You're like really fixed in that one position. The seat kind of, it lumbars, but it doesn't really move forward. So what I'm saying here is that what you get is a very long nose car. And that doesn't really sit well with me. I just came out of a Lotus yesterday, and had a great time in that. And because it has such a short nose, it's almost like you're in a fighter jet, or like a literal race car, so to speak. And so everything in front of you disappears almost immediately. Whereas in the Corvette, you really feel like you're long. It just feels like there's a long distance in front of you, and you got to change your thought pattern on driving, because you have to be able to over predict what's coming ahead and how to take that turn. Whereas in the Lotus or the McLaren, I felt like I knew I can predict. The car was more predictable than the Corvette was, right? In terms of like the long nose. And so what you think the car is going to do inside, like in terms of the Lotus and the McLaren, it's actually going to do it and more. It's going to correct itself. Whereas in the the C7 Vet, man, it just feels like you have to be very gentle with it. You have to be very careful, because you don't really, you're overestimating the turn, or switching lanes and stuff like that. It's just so long, man. It's really weird experience going from front engine to mid engine. So it was going on, Super Triz.
And what's going on, Mike?
I'm chilling, man.
Respect for the live chat. So it's become somewhat of a GM staple to have vehicles that are unfavorable visibility and seating position for the driver. This trend extends even to the Camaro. What it takes to actually have consistent lap times in these vehicles, both the Corvette and the Camaro, is actual trust. It's very difficult for a driver to like really trust that vehicle. Like, you know, you have to conceptualize spatial orientation, and have an actual conceptualization of where that vehicle lies on the track in relation to other elements on the track as well. And that just requires a certain level of trust. Once that trust is established, you'll find that value for dollar, these vehicles outperform anything close to it. Bottom line. But it requires that level of trust. Whereas the other vehicles, like you mentioned, the Lotus, for example, that's a staple of a mid-engine vehicle, is the cab forward design, because of the engine placement. You have that cab forward design, and the slope of the actual front allows for great visibility. And this allows you to, really have precision apexes. Whereas the Corvette, it really, there's a low entry point as far as skill level, because it is a front engine rear wheel drive layout, so it's more predictable oversteer. Whereas some of the mid engine cars have that snap oversteer. Polar moment inertia causes you to lose control, especially depending on your tires. There's so many factors concerned. So I think that even though there's that level of comfortability with the Lotus, think about the price. You're not going to be able to. And then we're talking about 42K for a Grand Sport. I mean, think about that. 42K for a Grand Sport. This null and voids Mustang, period.
Yeah.
There's no argument, especially talk about, okay, like think about a Z06. Like everybody is comparing the Shelby GT500 to a Corvette C8, but let's just compare the Shelby GT500 to a Corvette Z06. Let's compare the Chevy GT500 to a Corvette ZR1, which, with the actual inventories that are remaining, as well as the impending release, a mainstream release of the C8, you're going to have some excellent bargainings. And so when you compare the performance to a Shelby GT500, exclusivity notwithstanding, because obviously a GT500 is going to be in more limited numbers, but you look at the Z06 and the ZR1 and compare the performance. We're not talking about straight line drag strip performance, but like actually on a track, and the ability to have consistent lap times not just laps 1 through 5, but we're talking about laps, 12 through 15. That's really going to show what that vehicle is really made of, because again, that weight penalty is going to really start doing a number on the brakes and the tires. And so we'll see after that many laps what is the better vehicle. And I would postulate that the Z06 as well as the ZR1 will significantly outshine the GT500 as the laps go on, both from performance standpoint as well as the price.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with most of what you're saying about the vet, man. That's it's a hard proposition to walk away from when you're talking about a grand sport for like 43K. What? You're talking, for example, Volkswagen's Golf R, the 2020 Golf R is going for 44K in yellow. If you want a yellow Golf R, that you're going to cough up 44K for that thing. I just looked up the numbers on Car Guru. An orange Golf R is going for 45K. Ridiculous price,
Well,
right?
let's make sure we outline the caveats while we're singing praises for the C7. The Golf R, the base model Golf interior. We're talking about apples to oranges compared to the C7 interior is a complete embarrassment. Let's just be honest. And you're talking about a Golf for its class of vehicle. You're talking about the best interior, bar none, comes from out of Volkswagen. Like when you're talking about the class, like you can't compare a Honda Accord or Camry. The Volkswagens just have a far superior interior, and everybody knows it. But when you're talking about comparing it, it's really sad when you have a vehicle of the caliber of a C7 that's so blatantly outshined by a Golf as far as the interior improvements are concerned.
But I'm just saying that to say that what 4 bangers are going for, what 6 bangers are going for, they're talking about slashing the price into that territory. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Germans take notice. Shout out to Paul Bryant, because the Germans have gone away from V8s. You're hard pressed to find a V8, a German car. And so let's look at the counterpart to a C8, which will be the AMG. What's the model I'm talking about? You know the model I'm talking about. The GT.
You mean for you mean the Mustang?
The Mercedes AMG GT.
Oh, AMG GT, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, we're talking about like cars of we're talking about a front engine, a rear wheel drive, the traditional long hood rear wheel drive V8 models, and then for the Dodge Viper will be a V10 equivalent. So cars in that particular category, the price ranges are really, really high. You're talking about a vehicle that can offer approaching performance. Obviously, the AMG GT outperforms the Corvette Grand Sport. But when you're talking about a vehicle that is probably about a third of the price, I mean, come on, this is really a tough. And then for some people, the AMG GT is not even a reality for them. It's just price wise. It's just not going to happen. But now you have a Corvette actually siphoning off Mustang GT buyers. So now, so now what I think this is going to do is it's going to push the price, because the Camaro is already struggling too. So
yeah, I talked to him about that. He said that Camaros just sit there. People aren't buying them.
So now you have the Camaro, the Camaro. I guess the what's the model that I'm talking about? The one with the SS, but the LT package.
Oh, that's the SS.
Yeah, but the LT package though.
Okay.
So you have the stripper model now. They have the one that has the same size wheels all around, and so that one already was coming in at about what, 33,000. 33 and some change. So now with the, with the Corvette prices being slashed dramatically, we may see a front engine rear wheel drive V8 car, brand new, MSRP. I mean, not disregard the MSRP, but brand new. We may see a V8 front engine rear wheel drive car coming in under 30,000 off the lot. So you got to think about what this does to all of the other models within the Chevrolet range. This is a good time to buy cars. Unfortunately, I'm not on the market to buy cars. I'm on my real estate tip right now. So it's like it's especially when you got the money to buy it too.
Yeah.
it's really tough, It takes some discipline.
Well, I was tempted, dude. Let me move the pictures forward. Yeah, I was tempted, man, just a few minutes ago, man. What pissed me off, man, is I went to one dealership to go look at a C8 and he didn't understand what I was talking about. What do you mean C8? What is that? So it's a Corvette. The 2020 Corvette. Oh, I got a Corvette down here. I go to look at this fucking Corvette, man. This shit was so beat up. It was like a 2000. I said, why would I want one of those? Well, maybe I'm thinking, what are you going to trade in? Trade in. You think I'm going to trade in my Supreme Condition Volkswagen for that thing? It barely starts up, dude. Why would I want that? Like, I was so furious. I was so furious, man.
It's really upsetting when you have a dealership you expect to have even the most rudimentary knowledge base of the vehicles he's attempting to sell you.
Yeah. Yeah, he kept winking his eye at me like, yeah, this is it just needs a little bit of TLC. You mean left eye and chili? What, left eye and chili? I don't what like, why would I want that car? Like, it doesn't make it. My car is superior to that car, and why would I want that? We said you was looking at a Corvette, and I said, no, I'm looking at the 2020 Corvette. Do you have one? No, we don't have one. Okay, thank you and have a good day. The fuck? Are you kidding me, man? Wasting my goddamn time. I drove all the way out there too, man. He said he had a Corvette, man. I was so disappointed, man. I should have punched him, but but he told me to go here though. He told me to go to this dealership, and I said okay. So yeah, man, I had a conversation earlier, man, and there's a whole. I mean, you can't. I should have took a whole picture, but there's a whole series of C7s just sitting there, brand new, untouched, 0 miles on them. Nobody won't touch them.
Are any of them manual or are they all automatic?
They're all manual.
All of them are manual, and they're not moving.
No, he said people are coming in every day. Where's my C8? Where's the C8? He said we because of the strike, it's all pushed back to January. He said they have 11 coming in. They're already sold.
Interesting.
And nobody wants to touch these. Nobody wants to touch the Camaros. They're just sitting there. Not just the base Camaro, but even the SSs and LT1 packages. They don't care. They don't want them. I saw one dude pull up in the ZL1. That shit was dope.
The ZL1 Camaro.
Yeah, that shit was dope, dog.
Yeah, this guy that goes to my gym, he has the ZL1 Camaro, and it's even stock. The exhaust sounds nice. I mean, it's a really, really nice vehicle. He did a burn down in the parking lot one day. It was a couple months ago, and yeah, it was. It's definitely a nice vehicle. But again, it still has that same high door sills. You really it's a claustrophobic experience sitting in one of those.
Yeah, it's like sitting in a coffin or like getting an MRI.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's going on, man. By April, they're talking about slashing C7 prices down to $45K. That's a man. That's hard, man. That's really hard to walk away from, man. I mean, there's so many modifications. The Corvette has a lot of aftermarket support, so there's so many things you can do with it. lighter wheels, Hyperforge wheels, sticky tires, Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, a variety of things, man. You have to
And
change the exhaust.
well, yeah, the main thing you want to do is you swap out, get a titanium. That's going to save you a lot of weight. And then for those that are really interested in saving weight, like because of the C8 program and stuff like that, you can get a lot of lightweight, like the windshield. So you can get like basically every window you can get it in acrylic. And a lot of the components come in carbon fiber. You can get I mean, that's if you really want to spend that money. Carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber trunk, and the front fascia. They got a complete carbon fiber front fascia that you can get for the C7. Magnesium wheels. We were talking about magnesium wheels.
That's 20 grand, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, depends on what you're trying to do. Because a lot of people it's crazy because people are so concerned about the sticker price of the vehicle, but they end up spending so much money in the aftermarket. Because it's like it's incremental spending, so it really creeps up on you. Next thing you know, you got a $150,000 car.
Yeah.
That you can't sell for $150,000.
Right. Unless you put a prancing horse on it.
There you go.
Yeah, but I was having a conversation at a different dealership, man, and at the Ferrari dealership, and they rumor, this is just a rumor, C8's chassis warping.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I heard chassis warping already.
So, now the chassis is the chassis aluminum on the C8?
I don't know what it's made out of, to be honest with you. I haven't really looked into that, but from what I've heard, chassis warping it has become an issue. I'm assuming that they tracked this car and found some issues with the after they probably tracked it 20 times or something and found some issues, man, going up these apexes and whatnot. So
yeah, engineering. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, with the load forces are going to be different mid-engine. And Chevrolet obviously doesn't have that much experience with mid-engine. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and I'm not sure what the exact cause of the chassis warping, if the alleged chassis warping is, but
it could be just maybe the front might be bending because there's nothing up front. Could be a variety of things, man.
Well, I'm thinking it has to be it has to be an aluminum component that's warping. I don't know if they have some type of aluminum in the chassis. I would imagine they do have some aluminum in the chassis, and I can guarantee you, when we talk about warping, it's usually some type of aluminum component.
The way Lotus does it is they bond the chassis. They don't actually weld anything. They bond it with glue. So it's hyper bonded, and I guess that helps reduce imperfections in terms of like welding and stuff like that. That's my understanding of it.
Well, the bonding and what the precursor to the bonding was the riveting.
Yep.
And then they went to bonding because the rivets can actually start to loosen up over time. But the bonding has superior structural rigidity than conventional welds. So that's the sole purpose of it, is the actual structural rigidity. Now, as far as the actual durability, I'm not sure if there's a durability penalty. But from a structural standpoint, this is why you have these cars that they increase year over year structural rigidity by 30-40% because they increase the number of bonding as opposed to welding.
But yeah, what else was I gonna say that I came across? Yeah, man, they wanted me to take that C7 immediately. Said, take it off our hands, please. There's so many of them back there. I said, why is there so many of them back there? He said, oh, man, people don't want them. They're waiting for the C8. They already put their money down. They're not backing out. The 11 that we have on order in January will be sold. So if you want one, now would be the time to actually put your money down. $8,000 down. So
$8,000 deposit for a C8.
Yep.
That's not too bad. I mean, because it all goes towards the actual purchase price of the vehicle anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really don't need to be hearing this because you know, I want to see a vet. You know, I got to be patient, man, because I really need to be doing some renovations on this property. So I shouldn't be spending no money on no vehicles right now.
Mm-hmm. Why not just get rid of the 4Runner, get a little Beta, and then be okay with the a C7?
No, actually, I want the C8.
Okay.
I want the C8. I mean, I like the C7, but I want I want the Z06. So like, I don't even want the base model C8. I want the Z06. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I want the flat plane crank V8, and I want the C8.
Yep.
And so, I mean, the C8 Z06. So I'm not sure, you know, that's probably going to be a couple of years before we even, I mean, with all this delays going on with the C7 base model Stingray, I mean, C8 Stingray, I'm not going to hold my breath for the Z06 C8, but I mean, that's the ultimate plan. By that time, I should be, you know, where I want to be as far as properties and renovations are concerned. So then I could just kind of focus on getting me something like somewhat of a toy. I want to keep the actual 4Runner though. Mm-hmm. 4Runner is a car I can keep for 30 years. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I bought it.
Yeah, like those old Land Cruisers from the 70s and in the 80s, people are still holding on to.
Yeah.
So here's one thing I've learned as well in conversation. You won't find a C8 Stingray at all. Because when you configure it, every little thing that you put on it, you're going to be nickel and dimed. I think Paul Bryant sent that video out. And what he's saying is that, and what was said in that video and what I heard today was that every little thing you add on there is going to be nickel and diming you. So it's going to eventually push you into a Z51 package.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be $60,000. You maybe if you're like budget or enterprise or something like that, you want to rent out, the C8. You just have a stripper models Stingray, but for all intents and purposes, you're going to have a Z51 package almost immediately. So you're talking 70 plus K already. And then when you start adding on things, it's going to creep up 85, 90K real quick.
But, for most people, the base Stingray is all they really need. Like, I mean, like, okay, let's be honest. Most people are not going to track the car. So let's just get that out the way. Mm-hmm. Right? It already comes with leather. There isn't like a transmission option. There isn't an engine option. So really, I mean, like, I think that because you got to think about it, a lot of the people that buy the Corvettes, they're really people who just, drive it on the weekends. They like the way it looks. Mm-hmm. They like that it's a V8. They, hit the gas a little bit on the back roads, but they're really not doing a whole lot of anything crazy. Mm-hmm. These are most of these are older men, men who are like 50 plus. So when you look at the actual, demographic of people buying it, the Z51 package is not really something that's necessary for their needs. Now, personally, if I were to get a C8 base model, I'm definitely getting the Z51 package. That's just a no-brainer for me. But I don't think I represent the traditional Corvette buyer. Now, the thing about it is that because of the mid-engine layout, the fact that it's a mid-engine V8 car, the only mid-engine V8 car that you can have for that price, period. And we're talking about even inflation adjusted. You go back years, 30 years, 40 years, there's never been a car inflation adjusted prices that's been available for so cheap that fits the mid-engine V8 criteria, period. Never has. So this is going to actually, I think we're going to get different buyers from the conventional C8 buyer. I mean, conventional Corvette buyer who are going to be eyeballing this Corvette. And so,
let me answer Rayo's question. He said, what's the cost on this? So the cost on what you're looking at on the screen, 50K even, every warranty and other accessories to go with it that they're gonna throw in right out the door immediately. Either you have it delivered to your house or drive it off the lot. Ryo, so I hope that answers your question. Super Trish, you got some noise in the background. Yeah, Ryo, that a lot of people feel that way about the US and fast cars, man. Especially a Corvette, man. They just automatically pull you over just because, just to harass you. That's what you get a radar and a in the laser deflector for, on the front license plate. Keep you out of trouble. But yeah, the pictures don't do it justice, man. The blue one, man, I was really feeling that, man. That was dope. It's really difficult to walk away with like 0% interest on a new vet.
but the vet, because it's a two-seater model, it really has limited application. Like a lot of people won't even consider it because it only has 2 seats. So that is an issue for a lot of people. The Corvette. Well, here's the thing, though. Again, at that $42,000 price point, the potential price point of 42K. A lot of people, again, who are looking at Mustang and stuff like that, you start to realize that most of your time in the vehicle you spent driving it by yourself. So a lot of people can actually do with a car, because I drove, when I had my Mustang, I also had a motorbike, and so I parked my Mustang for a whole year. I didn't even drive it for a year at all. I rode my motorcycle every single day. Had a rain suit. I rode it in the rain, everything. And the motorcycle, for all intents and purposes, is really a one-seater. I mean, there is a potential for to carry a passenger, but it's not very practical on a super sport bike. And so I got by just fine. So I think a lot of people can do with a 2-seat car, no problem. And the Corvette is actually one of the more practical 2-seat cars in the fact that it has a usable trunk.
Yeah.
An actual
you can drive it in winter with with winter tires, maybe some Pirelli Soto Zeros or some Michelin Alpines or some Hakkapeliitas or something. But that's the extent of it. I mean, any sort of dusting out there, you got to watch the weather because you don't want to get caught, right? So I think the way climate change has been the last couple of years, man, we haven't had a real hard winter in probably about 10 years. I mean, we had one strong winter a couple of years ago, even what happened in New York. But I mean, I don't care what kind of car you have, you're not driving out there, period. If you can't walk in it, you can't drive in it.
Well, we got to look at the large population distributions in areas where the winters are never harsh. Like, for instance, you got large population concentration in Southern California, Phoenix, large population concentration, Las Vegas, Houston, San Antonio, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so those areas, regardless of what the winter is, even though it's like some areas like Houston and Florida may have hurricane season. Now, I had a Mazda Miata that I drove during the hurricane.
Wow.
During a hurricane. Now, mind you, it was a very perilous journey, and luckily there were no other cars on the road because I probably would have gotten an accident if there was other cars I have to maneuver around. But I was able to drive to work during the hurricane in a Mazda that weighed 2,500 pounds.
You had a little cute. You had a little cute Miata.
At a 2008 Mazda MX-5 at the 6-speed package with the 6-speed manual transmission, because it came standard with a 5-speed manual, and then optional automatic and optional 6-speed manual. At the 6-speed manual, summer package, summer tires, yeah, and I made it to work during the hurricane.
No, I'm just joking. It was good, Super Trip. It was good, Mike.
It was good, man. It's good, man. I don't know how much you've heard so far of discussion, but
I just got in. I started listening maybe 10 minutes ago. I was out, and then when I got in here, I was gonna just hop on here. Yeah, I was trying to live stream yesterday from the track, but I didn't realize that you have to have 1,000 subscribers now to live stream.
Yeah, they moved that up. Stop people from live streaming deaths and death kills and stuff like that.
Oh shit! Oh, that's why they did it. All right, so yeah, I figured out live StreamYard last night. So next time I'm out at the track, man, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna do it because I was really trying to like show y'all some shit at the track last night. But no, I was just joking though, Super Triz. The Miatas, the MX-5s are legit. I got a homie who runs Super Miata. He runs he runs the Maxxis Super Miata Cup. And his shit is like, it's legit fast as hell, dude. Like it's a legit ass race car.
Well, speaking of a track, I thought about you last night. I was reading this article on Car Buzz. Have you heard of a Rodin FZED?
The what? Rodin
FZED.
No, what's that?
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it in the back chat. You can check it out at your leisure. But it's basically it's a Formula One style car with a 3.8 Cosworth V8. But what they've done is they've modified it to where you're able to actually drive it 3,100 miles before it needing a major service, as opposed to the 185 mile service interval for a conventional Formula One car.
So wait, this is a race car though?
Yeah, I mean, like for the untrained eye, you think it's a Formula One car. It's fenderless, same dimensions, everything is a Formula One car. Though the engine has been modified. The tolerances have been expanded so that way it has a longer duration maintenance interval. So it's still $650,000 just to buy the vehicle, but your actual cost of ownership is going to be significantly less.
So it's more of a spec. It's kind of like a spec racing car, like everything is kind of spec'd out to keep the cost down and extend the usability of it between service intervals, like that kind of car.
Yeah. Paul Bryant has also joined us as well. Complex, I just wanted to bring you up to speed because I went to a dealership just before the hangout, which is why I fired the live stream up. That's where these pictures are from. So I went to go look at a C8, and they did not have any. And this dealership was the only dealership that would have it in the state. And they have an order of 11 because of the strike. It's been postponed until January.
Oh, word?
The 11 that's on order have all for intents and purposes have been sold. What he offered me was some C7s. They have a dozen C7s on the lot that have not been moved, and they're not selling. And so he decided they slashed the price to 50K. Right now, as of today, it's 50K for a Z06.
Damn.
50K for a Z06?
Yeah.
What's up, Paul?
50K. Ulysses, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, Guten
It's been a
Tag.
while.
Guten
Always
Tag.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. I just got finished watching Sky Sports Network, and Lewis Hamilton did it again.
Yes,
Six-time world
sir.
Formula One drivers champion. I mean, it
One
was
more.
never
We
it
need
was
one
never in
more.
doubt, but the way that they did it. So here's how it shook out. It was another Mercedes 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Both Valtteri Bottas came in first place. Lewis Hamilton came in second place. The D-bag Max Verstappen finished in third place. So Lewis Hamilton is now a six-time Formula One world
Yes, sir.
champion. Mercedes is now six-time World Constructors Champion, which is their sixth championship in a row. Lewis Hamilton's third world title in a row. So of course, Martin Brundle asked him, "Well, how do you feel? You're only one away from Schumacher. How many more world titles do you feel?" He said, "Listen, I'm young. I'm in my prime. I feel good. I want to enjoy today, and I'm focused on next week." And he kept it moving.
Yep.
I love that guy.
Yep. Don't even make that an issue, because people will turn it in. They already make like the race shit, the racial shit with Lewis Hamilton. It's on the low. You already know this, Paul, Mike. Y'all know it. But it's like, dude, this dude is the most dominant dude since Juan Manuel Fangio, maybe Michael Schumacher. Like, there's only like two other drivers that I can think of. Only reason why I ain't putting Ayrton Senna in it is because he lost his life. He like, before he could really make a run at the GOAT status. He lost his life. So it's like, yeah, man, shout out to Lewis Hamilton, bro.
Yeah. Totally. And it is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to watch, man, because funny you talked about Ayrton Senna, because we were on the car stream a few nights ago, and I had mentioned to Nagone, I said Lewis Hamilton says that growing up, his favorite driver actually wasn't Schumacher; it was actually Ayrton Senna.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? It's funny that he said Ayrton Senna is his favorite driver, because Ayrton Senna, he was a machine, and he would wear you down, no mistakes, the same driving style that Lewis Hamilton does. The difference is, when he got close to you, Senna became a very rough, aggressive driver. Like, he could turn it on, turn that off. Lewis Hamilton doesn't really do that. He's more, he wears you down. He's an Iceman, no mistakes. Senna, same thing, no mistakes. He wore you down. But when he got right up on you, that's when he got very aggressive, just like Schumacher did. So Senna died. Schumacher. The only thing that's sad to me is that Michael is in a coma right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's kind of, yeah, man, that ski accident,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's been in the coma. Has it been a year yet? How long has it been?
It's been a few years, man. It's been some years, bro.
2017, 2016?
No,
I think before then.
No, way
this has
before
been
that,
some years, dude. Like, we're talking, what, 5-6 years, maybe?
More than that.
Maybe more than that.
I want to say off the top of my head, 2013, maybe.
Yeah, it was like 2012, 2013 when that happened.
Yeah, because it was right after his second retirement, because he retired from Ferrari, 7-time world title holder. Then he came back like a year later to start off the Mercedes team.
Was that with Braun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was with Braun, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he left, and then the year he left, Ross Braun sold the team to Mercedes, and Niki Lauda and Toto Wolff took the team over, and it became Mercedes Formula One, and the rest is history. But like, Michael hasn't seen, like, Michael saw his first championship, but he hasn't seen Lewis Hamilton, break his records.
Yeah,
Now
he's
one
he's
away
not
from
even
that.
cognizant of nothing right now, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul, the videos you sent, man, especially the smoking tire with Matt Farah,
Yes.
I have to agree with him. I mean, I think he makes some very good points, and it's really difficult to justify. The Germans are scared at this point. There's no way that European automakers are looking at the C8 and saying we're not afraid of this thing. All the reports that I've heard back have been pretty much the same, that this thing is ill.
Okay.
Yeah, but the interior is something that needs to be worked on. I have no idea what GM is doing. Even these new C7s I was just in a few minutes ago, they have this sort of waxy, Crayola crayon burnt, smell inside of it. Like, why do they smell like that? Why do they smell like that, man? So,
Bro, listen, I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it again.
Mhm.
It is a GM, which means it's going to have problems with the fuel pump, the fuel sending unit. It's going to have problems with the starter, the alternator, and the fuel gauge and the entire instrument cluster. Those are historical GM problems that decades they still can't get those fixed. With all of that said, I'm wait and see on the C8. They haven't given out any press of loaner vehicles for people to test on track yet. But I'm not saying that I doubt the car. I'm not saying it can't do everything that GM is claiming. I'm just wait and see. Because if this is the truth and if this is the case, this will be an absolute world changer. Because the GTR was a bit of a world beater, but it didn't change the world. It didn't change the world the way the NSX completely changed the world. The C8, they're saying, might do that. It might make everyone literally go back to the drawing board.
Well, these cars have, when we're talking about on the performance stage, like especially like racing and stuff,
Yeah,
it's like it's not on the factory, right? The factory produces like the car, but for racing applications, you have to put it in the hands of a competent, race organization who can basically reverse engineer the car down to the nuts and bolts, right? And then build it back up for racing application. That's really what it is. It's about, what it is that a tuner can play with to make it the most competitive thing. And I think that's what's going to give it its legitimacy. Ultimately, you got to put it in the hands of some competent tuners and race organizations to build the car where it needs to be. I'm not expecting GM to roll a goddamn GT3 variant off of the show, off the production line, and then we're going to throw it into the block pond series and it's going to do some damage. No, I'm expecting that car get put into the hands of like a team like Rebellion or what's another team that's out there that I could think of. It had to be some guys who can look, who can get the car and go, yeah, we know what to do with this, and that's what's ultimately gonna. But I think the basis of the car itself lends to a lot of people looking at it and say, yeah, I could do something with this. We can make this one. We can make this a hot car out here on the track. And I think that's what it is. The GTR, the GTR is brutish. It's brutish.
Very much so.
Okay, it's brutish, but because of that brutishness, you lose a bit of finesse, you lose a bit of agility on track, and you have to compensate with power. And you have tuners that specialize in that type of thing. Now, like down under in Australia, those guys have been the kings of tuning Skylines for years. Because that was one of the few sort of like quote unquote Western markets that imported the Skyline. So the Skyline didn't go to Europe or the United States, but Skylines were imported down under. So when you go watch those old ATCC races from like the late 80s, early 90s and shit, man, they banned the Skyline. They banned it because it was too damn dominant. You know, those dudes down there knew how to tune a Skyline. But for like European competition and stuff like that, running, you know, GT3 and all that type of stuff, I mean, it's had mixed successes.
You
know,
which is why I say I don't. GM's claims, what they're claiming is that it's going to make everyone go back to the drawing board. And the last car I think that we've seen do that was the Acura NSX.
Right.
All those years ago.
Right.
That made everybody go back to the drawing board. Because when the GTR came out, it was like, oh, okay, this is nice. We respect it. Okay, but you know, yeah, it was great at the ring. Broke the record back then. Great, fantastic. But it didn't.
But in competition,
it never evolved.
Correct. Exactly.
It's a high horsepower 4-wheel drive Japanese killing machine. That's it.
Yeah. But that's it. And the issue with the GTR is that it's a front engine, all-wheel drive, 3.5 liter, 6-cylinder engine car. So at its bones, that's what it is. Now we're going to a Corvette, which is now a V8 mid-engine car, and with the potential for under $60,000 MSRP potential. Now options,
that's not gonna happen. True.
Okay,
bro.
Hold on.
Let it go. That's not happening.
Well, Paul Bryant, every car has a base MSRP with the potential for options, and so it just like we're just using that as a benchmark, right? And so then we talk about obviously the Z0s, the Stingray. Right now, when we go into the Z06 category, we're already talking about infringing on exotic car territory. But now when we talk about the Z06 that has the potential for a flat plane crank V8, now we're really talking about stepping on Ferrari's toes. Because this is actually an affordable car. Like, you know, Ferrari, most people will dream about Ferrari. They see a Ferrari at a stoplight. They get lucky to see a Ferrari and they're excited. Yeah. Or like, you know, me, I know certain areas where, you know, I just go to certain areas of Seattle and I guarantee, or certain areas of Bellevue, or Mercer Island, I guarantee that I'll see a Ferrari, Lamborghinis, you know, all the time. But those are those areas that I have to go to those areas. But now you can actually have that vehicle in your driveway. It's actually affordable.
There has been rumors that Ferrari has a little entry-level weapon coming out.
Yes, but that entry-level weapon is a front engine.
Wait,
so you have the Ferrari badge, but you don't have the actual. From what I understand is that's going to use a V6, a Ferrari V6. So it's going to be a V6 and it's going to be a front engine. So we're still not quite addressing the issue.
Yeah, we're not at that. We're not mid-engine.
That's absolute heresy. I mean, Luca de Montezemolo said Ferrari, granted he's going now, but he said Ferrari will never make an entry-level vehicle. A used Ferrari is an entry-level.
No. I think you may be misconstruing what I'm saying. I think what they may do is set up Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
To be the entry level at that point, because as it stands right now, Alfa Romeo doesn't have anything. And the engine,
they have the Giulietta. That's it.
Yeah, and the Alfa Romeo that they do have, it has a chopped up Ferrari engine in it, anyways. 6-cylinder.
Well,
basically.
Well, we talk about Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo, their first foray into the sports car territory in the United States was the Alfa Romeo 4C. The 4C was used as a Lotus chassis, but it was a 4-cylinder vehicle. It still had decent performance, but it was nothing stellar about it. Then they had the 8C, which was very limited quantities that had the V8. But the Alfa Romeo was still no Ferrari. A lot of people that are looking at Ferraris are looking at Ferrari badges. So when we talk about entry-level Ferraris, the entry-level Ferrari that the initial entry-level Ferrari was the California.
Well, what I'm saying is the 8C. So the 8C was a carbon fiber experiment. The car is made of carbon fiber, so I think the monocoque block was carbon fiber.
Yeah, it was carbon fiber. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not it's not that far. I mean, right now you can't even buy one. I mean, they're going for like 300,000 on the market right now.
What,
But
8C?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's a nuts design, but the handling sucks. It was never tuned at all.
Right.
It was never tuned. But that may be the precursor to what Ferrari is saying, that they have an answer to all of this madness.
Well, I actually saw an article that mentioned a Ferrari, and I want to say it was like maybe it was a 2.9 or 2.8 liter turbocharged V6 with a potential for a hybrid application. This is what they're looking at for entry level with a Ferrari badge.
Mhm.
We're not talking about an Alfa Romeo counterpart. We're talking about an actual, or even a Maserati. We're talking about an actual Ferrari with a 2.8, 2.9 liter V6, potentially a V6 hybrid. Ferrari badge vehicle, and from my understanding, it was to be a front wheel drive. I mean, a front engine vehicle, rear wheel drive, entry level. Now they may have to go back to the drawing board depending on how this Corvette sells, because again, there's speculation on the C8, but we don't know. We really don't know how it will sell.
No, the
It's
cars
gonna
are
sell,
already,
bro.
the cars that are already built have already been sold. That's
Well,
what
I mean-
I've been told.
Well, I mean, okay, so we're talking about, like I'm talking about like just based on what their projections are about how many they will actually sell. So like even if they may meet their particular sales target, but their sales target may not reflect the actual demand, because they may undercut the sales target to actually create that additional demand. Because if you don't want to have too many C8s and then have them sitting on the lot.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. They're all going to be sold. Based on the conversation I had an hour ago, he said that the 11 that they have coming in January is gone already. He said the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to see a boatload of C7s get traded in.
Hey, Mike.
But there is a magical number though. There's a magical number that we don't know, because maybe if you make 10,000 a year, you'll sell all of them. Maybe you make 20,000 a year, you'll sell all of them. But at some point, there's some number that once you reach that number, you'll start having them sit on the lots.
But okay. The one thing you
early on though.
Yeah, the one thing you got to factor in is, look, these cars are largely going to be built by robots. So
I thought they were hand built. I thought these were hand built.
Yeah,
What, the C8s?
I thought all vets are hand built at the plant, because they're all built at the one plant in Kentucky, and it's a combo of robots and hands. But it's
I was gonna say what it is they'll be assembled. They'll be assembled. They're gonna be assembled largely, right? There's gonna be components that are assembled by hand, because just the torque specs that are needed, they will have to be verified by hand. But a large portion of the manufacturing process is automated. That's the reason why the price point is what it is. And that's the reason why they'll be able to do the type of numbers that they'll be able to do with the cars and still make it profitable, is because they're offsetting a lot of the production costs. They've eliminated a lot of product. Look, man, like a lot of those people that are striking with GM, it's not as if there's one unit that's completely immune to all of that. No. We're talking about slashing production cost. No matter what GM vehicle we're talking about, the cost of producing it is dropping because there's going to be less hands involved. And that's what I'm saying. It's like when you have less hands involved, you have more machines involved, you can better gauge production. You can target production better like that.
Let's look at the numbers now. Go ahead, Paul Bryant.
2014, you know what? I'm looking at these numbers. That was the first year. Help me out here if I'm wrong. 2014 was the first year for the C7 Stingray. And that thing moved like hotcakes. So now 2017 or 2018, GM came out and said officially there will be a C8. And look at the nose. The numbers nosedived, relatively speaking. and look at the 2018 and the 2019 numbers. Absolute nosedive because, and Mike spoke on this, I did not know it. People refused to buy the C7 because they were waiting on the C8. I really don't see C8 sitting on the lots the first year or even the second year. I really don't.
That's a good point.
No.
You can look at the C6 numbers. How far back does this go? Oh man. Yeah, it's the same trajectory, right? So you're seeing 32, 36,000, 33,000. That major drop off happens around
year 4.
2009. Yep.
Yeah, because you've got the new version coming out. It's guys are gonna wait. They're gonna wait for the new shit.
Right. So they must have released all the spy pics of the C7 and stuff like that, and people were like, "Oh fuck," we got Scott on the panel now. And
Hey,
Ty
everybody.
City.
Scott,
What's
Ty
going on,
City,
man?
what's going on, y'all?
What's up, fellas? Y'all trying to sneak this in? What's happening? How's everybody?
Hey, what's going on, Scott? Welcome, man.
Nothing. Yep. Hey, one thing I wanted to say. Now, I have a 911, C2 convertible. Okay. I know a vet is faster than my car. At least the top vets. I don't feel any envy or jealousy at all. I know a Mustang GT will give my car a run for the money, maybe even beat it. But it's like it's two totally different experiences, two totally separate markets. So I think a guy who's, looking to buy a Ferrari might glance at a vet and say, yeah, okay, it looks cool. It's all right. It has a lot of power. But there's nothing like cranking up a Ferrari. I can't see there being any comparison. Yeah,
no, I don't think that the guys who are buying Ferraris are gonna be indecisive because of the vet. I think what's happening here is you're getting Ferrari performance in the similar package for 1/3 of the price. This is what the NSX did to the original Ferrari.
It's a mid-engine.
Okay.
It's the mid-engine design.
Okay.
It's the mid-engine design.
Right.
That's the thing about it, man. It's completely different performance performance attributes, especially when it comes to driving sensation, man. And it's like when you go mid-engine, you're basically getting the most optimal designed car, regardless of who's making it. If you stick the motor right behind the back seat in between the front and rear wheels, you're just going to have superior handling characteristics. And then, from there, sky's the limit in terms of like modifications and such. And so when GM committed to making the Corvette mid-engine, just by virtue of that and that alone, you put the car into an upper echelon. Same thing that Honda did with the NSX.
That NSX was nice. I like the new ones too.
It's still sweet.
So
I think the new one's just overpriced, in my opinion.
But
So
the
my,
interior, I'm sorry, go ahead, Todd.
My all-wheel drive statement look like it's coming into fruition through a hybrid.
If it's gonna be hybridized, it's gonna be 4-wheel drive, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what the latest rumblings and trickles is, that it's gonna be an all-wheel drive hybrid electric setup.
Yep. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you better make it 4-wheel drive. Like if you try to make it hybrid and you keep it rear wheel, that's pointless.
Right. So will they have electric in the front, gas to the back?
Well, electric motors in the front and the rear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Full electric. The automotive industry, the industry itself, is making a full push towards full electric vehicles. So there aren't many on the market yet. Yes, we have Teslas. We now have the Jaguar E-Pace, and we have the Porsche.
Yeah, the E-Pace.
But what people don't see, the industry, I-Pace. The industry has moved. Not moving, they've moved to full electric vehicles. So you can literally expect within the next 5 years, all you're going to see are full electric vehicles at all price ranges. because they've already made that move. So now when you look at articles that have been covered by the Black Brain Trust over a year ago about Ford closing plants, shutting down production lines, making the move towards full electric vehicles, GM closing plants, laying people off. They just recovered from a strike. So when you look at what the Germans are doing, right, if you read the automotive news, which obviously is not covered in America, but being in Germany, it's in the German newspapers, they're doing the same thing. So it came from a state level that they want everything to be full electric.
But my thing was how they were going to get 3 seconds 0 to 60 time.
Wait, Ty, repeat that.
I said my thing was how would they get under 3 seconds 0 to 60? And they would have to go all-wheel drive.
I was gonna say
no, you can
not
get 0 to
necessarily.
60.
Not exactly. Yeah, that's true.
No, because you got front wheel drive cars. I mean, front engine cars. That approach that number.
I mean, the Z51 already is there. I'm just saying you would have to blow that number out of the water if you was going to make a bottle above it.
Well, 0 to 60 is just like it's like one benchmark, but really, you're looking at lateral G's, you're looking at what the slalom number is, you're looking at braking and cornering forces. I mean, like when you're talking about an actual track weapon, like 0 to 60 is not really that important. Like what's more important is like the 50 to 70 passing. Like what's the numbers on that?
Nah, the new benchmark is going to be how fast does it do the ring. That's all that's going to matter.
Nürburgring ring. Yeah.
Yeah, it will. Mm-hmm. But now see, one quick clarification. Are we talking racing or are we talking street cars?
Street cars with racing benchmarks.
Okay, right. So with racing benchmarks, 0 to 60 and 50 to 70, that's marketing hype now. It's more important, what are your ring times? What are your braking distances? What's your power to weight ratios? Especially if we're talking full electrics, it's not even so much the 0 to 60. That's marketing hype. The important number is total range.
Now you know what, Mike. Now it's funny that you bring up the Lotus Evora, right? So we're talking about a car that's actually a 2+2 layout, right? This is a 2+2 mid-engine car, and for all intents and purposes, that the I think it's a 3.5 liter Toyota Source V6 model, a V6 engine that's supercharged. The actual dimensions of that particular engine, I believe, is a little bit larger than the pushrod V8 GM.
It is.
So my question is, I know this may be I may be nitpicking, but from a C8 perspective, you have a C8 with a smaller engine footprint that's only a 2-seater, right? Mm-hmm. But somehow you have a larger vehicle with a heavier curb weight. Like, I think GM really they missed an opportunity to really make an outstanding vehicle. Even if it would have came in, say for instance, they would have had to price the vehicle $5,000 more. I would have rather seen them make a vehicle with a curb weight closer to that of the Evora.
The materials they use is, I mean, just the dashboard alone is so heavy, man. It's all parts bend and whatnot, man. I understand what you're saying. I think they'll do a better job with the C8R, but the Lotus, your point is actually strong, but the Lotus is packed like an oven, man. I mean, they just jam the engine.
Everything in,
they jammed everything up in there, man. You can't even get your hand in there. You got to drop the engine out of the car just to work on it. So
I got to be real with you. That's the reason why you don't really see like Lotus cars in competition. Like really, they really don't perform. Right? Yeah.
Well, it's easy to work on. You could take it to any Toyota dealership and they'll actually be able to drop the engine and work on it. But those cars, you can take it to the track almost immediately. You don't really, other than putting gas in it, it actually goes to the track and will do
Yeah, it
multiple
tracks
laps.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
But see, Super Trish, to your point, and Mike already said what I'm about to say. The materials that GM would have to make the C8 out of in order to get this kind of curb weight would substantially drive up the overall price of the car, because now we're talking magnesium instead of aluminum, carbon fiber instead of aluminum,
Titanium.
Exactly.
Titanium.
And
Yep.
everything is going to drive the price of that car well over six figures for a car that
But that's
big.
okay for GM, Paul, because they have a credible product. If the product is credible, it doesn't. You shouldn't have to sell for 60. You can sell it for 100.
Yeah.
And still kill Audi, kill Lamborghini, kill Porsche, kill everybody else.
It's not about whether it's GM or not. It's just going to be about
all of those.
Right, but
they chopping the bottom line right out of all of those.
Yep.
Right, but what about that Cadillac coupe that was basically a ZR1 with different body panels?
XLR.
Yes, that was priced for $100,000, and people refused to buy it. Why?
Because it was a Cadillac, bro.
Because it was a GM. It was a GM.
Well, who pays six figures for a fucking Cadillac, though?
Well, they do. They do that with Escalades all the time.
Yo, the
Escalade's going for six figures.
That's a truck, though. But that's a truck.
They can't keep CTSVs on the lot.
Yeah.
I wrote the
but how much does CTSVs cost?
About 80.
100?
Yeah, about 80 to
Really?
100.
God
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, but GM slashes, they give you a 20% discount, employee discount. So keep that in mind. You're not paying full price.
Exactly.
But even Paul's Tahoe SS has been largely discounted.
I wish.
Hey, Scott, you were trying to say something, bro?
Yeah, I said I wrote the software to test the XLR seats when they were being made.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Really?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, the seats, they were made in Detroit. Detroit, in the Dave Bing business, the basketball player.
Bing Steel.
Yeah, Bing Steel.
Out of business now.
We talked about him. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tester did the Corvette seats and the XLR seats. So that was interesting working with the engineers from GM on communicating with their product.
Well, the problem with the XLR,
why are their interiors so crappy compared to the Germans?
Hey, wait, hold on.
Are shit.
Rael said, he said a banging sports car with a whack interior is like a fine chick with whack panties. Defeats the whole purpose.
Maybe she's rocking bloomers.
Bloomers.
Interiors.
GPs.
Garbage.
You know what? I'm gonna say something that's kind of controversial, bro.
Like you haven't done that before?
No. Hey, you see stuff coming into fruition. Listen, Corvette using the PDK transmission, I got a question mark on that.
Why is that?
I just got a question mark on that because I don't see it.
You don't see it? Well, it's usually inside the car. It's not outside the car.
Hey.
Oh, man.
Well, no. What do you? Ty, I mean, elaborate, Ty.
I'm not seeing it because they was real. I remember reading earlier that it was a gay track transmission that they was running with.
That's true. I did. Yeah, we did read that.
And now it's a Porsche PDK.
It's a Tremec. Tremec is in there.
A Tremec.
It's a Tremec?
That's what Matt Farah said in the video that Paul sent.
I don't see it.
Why not? Because listen, you have to understand something. GM, for years in their performance-oriented vehicles, they've already been using ZF transmissions. ZF, if you don't know, is a German company. So why not? So why not go to the company that invented the double clutch, which is Porsche?
Okay, so what I'm saying is, imagine a GM product coming out with 4MATIC.
Oh, okay.
I don't see the point. I don't see. All right.
no. He's talking about the actual branding. So like when you have a Formatic obviously like a 4-wheel drive, right?
Mhm.
So it's almost like a GM coming out with Quattro. I mean,
Yeah,
even
but
though
I see what
the
you're
actual
saying.
brand
they're not going to use
Oh.
that name though.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no, that's
That
what
Okay.
he's. That's what. That's what. That's what. That's
That's
what.
what
have that
that's what he's saying.
technology.
Yeah, that's what Ty City's saying, that they'll borrow the technology and just put a label on it for itself.
Right.
Right.
GM4 or something like that.
They would never let this fly,
Uh,
bro.
Sure, they would. Why not?
Yeah. Well, Porsche did the
No
same
way.
thing with their suspension. It's called I forget what it's called. It's sport. The sport suspension is borrowed from GM. Their magnetically controlled suspension.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
The magneto-rheological suspension.
Yeah,
Yes.
because GM invented that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
So Porsche uses that.
GM invented magnetic ride shocks. Everybody who's using magnetic ride shocks, that is a GM invented technology.
But that came from Opel, right?
No,
Well, no.
Opel is
Opel is
GM
GM. Opel
No,
is
I'm saying
GM.
I'm saying Opel from an origination standpoint. I don't think that the guy sitting in Detroit came up with that.
No, yeah, but Opel is GM. That's global. That's part of global GM.
Well, it's
But
gone
the
now.
point-
Opel's gone now.
Yeah.
But the point Mike is trying to make is Opel was a German company.
No.
Yeah.
That's the point you're trying to make, Paul Bryan. Every time you turn around
Oh shit.
to say something about some German company.
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
I honestly
shit.
had no idea that was a Opel design. I had no idea. I thought that was a purely GM Detroit design because GM invented the magnetic ride shocks. I thought it was 100% American design. Americans do
Corvette
some
with
Yeah,
things
the
every now
they-
and then.
They did lead you to believe that. I mean, I thought just like you, yeah, it was made down in Hamtramck or
Right.
someplace like that.
Yeah, because I was always under the impression that it started with the Catera, right?
Well, you can have a
Oh.
car and
Either
it'll
Don't
that
say,
or
bring
the
that car up, please.
CTSV.
Oh.
but what I'm saying is you can have a car and it'll say suspension tuned by Lotus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They
You've
make
seen that.
sure-
You used to see that all the time.
They make sure that, you know what I'm saying, the engineering was tied to whatever was done to that vehicle.
Okay, but now
I don't
look,
see a Porsche with PDK.
I have one car for you, Ty City, and it's one of your favorite vehicles. It is the BMW Supra. There isn't a
Oh,
BMW
yeah.
word anywhere in
Yeah.
the marketing, but
Hard
if you
top.
lift up the hood, everything says BMW on it because that
No, I
is a
understand that.
BMW.
It's but it's a BMW.
But it's not
You know
in
what
the
I'm saying?
marketing. But
it's a
it's
BMW.
nowhere right. But there's nowhere in the marketing. So I understand what you're saying. But listen, Harley Davidson, the V-Rod, the engine in the V-Rod is designed, hand built, and shipped to America from Porsche. Nowhere in the marketing does Harley Davidson ever mention that
These are
motorcycle
Porsche. Yeah.
is a Porsche motor. They don't hide it, but they don't talk about it. They don't advertise it. So much in the same way that a lot of GM performance vehicles still have ZF transmissions in them, they don't talk about the fact that that's a German transmission. So why should Porsche be any
Okay.
different?
Paul, what are three of the biggest game-changing things that Porsche done the last 30 years, bro?
I beg your pardon. Excuse me.
PDK is like the crown jewel of it's one of the crown jewels over there.
Wait. Say that again.
PDK is one of the crown jewels at Porsche.
I'm not sure.
Well, you got to think about the 918 Spider with its hybrid technology as well.
I'm about to say, if we look at prototype racing, the
Carrera GT, the 918, the
I'm talking
959.
I'm talking about parts, the innovations that they push through their
Okay,
entire
if you
bloodline.
look at
959,
prototype
the Carrera
racing,
GT, and the 918.
if you look at prototype racing, okay, the trickle down from their WEC car, the one that set the fucking Nürburgring track record, right? Beats out a goddamn Formula One car. Okay, that technology trickles down into the hybrid technology that you see in their production cars. I would say that their hybrid Porsche's hybrid technology is the
Well,
crown jewel.
complex before that, before even that. Talk to him about the 959, about how that car was like 50 years ahead of his time.
Oh yeah, that was an animal.
The first
I mean, like, come on, Ty City, what are you talking about?
Drive,
Man, y'all trying to make it like they didn't ditch all of their transmissions to go PDK.
No. When you said that's their crown jewel, though, I beg to differ. I would say that their hybrid technology that's trickled down into their production cars, that's actually the crown jewel, in my opinion.
Because look at as Ulysses just said, though.
There's
Porsche
no reason for
919
PDK to be in a Corvette. Sorry.
Well,
there's a whole lot of reasons for that.
Well, I mean, think about it from this perspective, Tyson, right? Right.
I hear what y'all saying. I'm not ignorant to Porsche and but I'm talking about a competitor is using your transmission.
But look at it from this perspective, right? Like when we talk about like the benchmarks for what they use to market the vehicle, right? We're talking about acceleration time. That PDK transmission is arguably the best transmission in automotive history.
It is I say.
Didn't Jay Leno say that?
Transmissions ever.
Yeah, but now listen, the PDK, Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe, everybody copies their own version of a dual clutch transmission.
And they don't come close.
GT500 DCT is supposed to be really good.
Okay,
Not
so
close.
the point here is, see, you're looking at it, Ty, from a rather pedestrian point of view. Why would I want a competitor using my product? You absolutely would want a competitor using your product, because that is the ultimate admission that your competitor
has a better product,
design your product than you.
Yep.
So you absolutely would want your competitor to use your product, because that is the ultimate admission that your competitor can out-design, they can out-manufacture you, and in fact, they have to use your product in their product. So that's absolutely what you want.
That's what happened.
I can appreciate and wait, listen, time out. How many auto manufacturers around the world use Bosch automotive components?
Shit, damn near all of them.
All of them.
Well, okay, but on the other side of that, we have engineering and then we have manufacturing. The PDK
they go hand
was
in hand,
engineered
though.
by Porsche, and what?
I said they go hand in hand, though.
They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. You only manufacturing is a fancy name for putting Lego parts
Dude,
together.
if I need to break down, if I got to break down how the karting shit works, it'll give you a clearer picture of what we're, because that's on a more basic level, but it crescendos up into large scale manufacturing and full scale automobiles. But the thought processes behind it is the same.
Well, it's all about reducing supply chain overhead.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's all I'm really about. But see, Ty City doesn't have a problem with Nissan supplying Datsun with parts and labor.
It's the same company.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me.
Hey, the more you know. The more you know.
The more you know.
No, man, but I missed this earlier because I wanted to make sure that Complex got the note. I was at the dealership, before starting this hangout, and they told me that the ZR1 they're going to knock off $15,000 off the price.
Wow, dude.
For what?
Anything that they can do to get that, because like you said, them C7s is about to come back in.
Well, the C7s that they have on a lot are not moving. The ZR1 is not moving.
They're not allowing any more C7 trade-ins at the Classic GM here in Dallas. They don't want any more.
Yeah.
Well, you got to realize that the longer that vehicle sits on the lot, right? They're losing money because it's taking up space on the showroom floor. It's depreciating the insurance cost of it. They have to wash that vehicle every week. It's like there's a lot of money that they're losing just by not selling the vehicle. So they'd be better off let's just undercut the price right now and just move the unit.
Man, let me tell you what I would do. Let me tell you, if I just had a shit ton of money, or we had like a automotive like equity group.
Or Pacific Rides.
Hey, well, shit, man. If I had the dough, I'd do it. Anti-gravity now, we do it through this. But, dude, what you do is you arrange a group buy. You get the shit. Literally, you like, look, we're gonna give you this money so that your books are clear. Like, don't ask us for no profits, dude. We're literally just gonna clear your books and clip some space in your showroom. We're gonna take these off your hands, take them back to the shop, spec them out for club racing, and there you go. You have a one-make series. Take those cars, repurpose them. You get your gentleman drivers to step up, pay you 10 grand for a weekend to race. That's how you get some value out of some old stock right there.
I would have thought that Ferrari would have figured this out, man, with the NSX, right? I don't know who's making so much noise.
I think that's Triz.
Yeah, I think Triz might be.
It's not me, is it?
No,
No,
I was muted.
think-
That's not me. I'm muted.
Well, who is that?
It might be Ty City trying to eat himself like Jabba the Hutt.
No, it's not. No joke.
What does it sound like?
I don't know.
You don't hear that? You don't hear that sound? You don't hear that noise in the background?
I'm brewing some tea.
Nigga stay with a Ty City joke in the cut, bro.
No, but you would have thought that Ferrari would have figured out after what happened with the original NSX that somebody else is going to come along and do the same thing, and now GM is doing it, and I don't know what this could do for Ferrari's future, man. Because what happens here is, I know Ferrari has some stipulations about how you can review the cars and stuff like that. I mean, a C8 Z07 waxing a 488 could really be traumatic, for their brand.
It really could, man. And I think the only thing that Ferrari can really hedge on is brand. You got guys that are just Ferrari guys. They don't give a shit. Right. Even when Ferrari puts out like a subpar car in Formula One, like they have been for the past few years, they just have Mercedes has been eating their goddamn lunch.
But it's still Ferrari.
But guess what? Ferrari.
Yep.
Exactly.
But you know what, Mike?
Now,
even a better sentiment to that is, if anybody could have learned from the NSX, Acura should have learned from what they did already with the NSX.
what?
Why is that?
Like I stated before, the NSX is it doesn't capture what the first generation did. It just doesn't.
Oh, well, because it's a different car, right? The original stands for new sports car experience. The new one stands for new supercar experience. So it's trying to not even match the Ferrari, but match the Porsche 918. And they pretty much have matched it.
Well, Mike. Okay, so I'll wait till a little bit later in the chat. I wanna show the new 2020 regs for Super GT.
Okay.
And for LMP3.
Okay.
Because you got Ligier, Ginetta, Odessa, and the other company. They just released all their new cars for 20. So when you look at the Super, dude, Paul, like there's this video literally just popped up on my feed today. Guys did, but I'll show the pictures of that. But what's particular to note here is the NSX Super GT car. Okay, you got my attention now. That motherfucker is beastly.
But you know what we were talking about, or someone in the chat when I first jumped on mentioned about auto interiors, and you guys know
it was me.
You guys know how I absolutely kill American cars for their cheap interiors, the fake hardwood and the fake hard plastics that crack and chip, and the pleather,
weather crack,
and the squeaks and the rattles, and how you can have. Or how about the fact that Ford wants to charge $103,000 for a Mustang GT500 that has the same exact interior as a $28,000 something Ford? I mean, that's
right.
That's crap. Now, see, every time you step into any German vehicle, especially an Audi, a Mercedes, not so much BMW, but Porsche, you get what you pay for: higher quality materials, interiors that look much better, no squeaks and rattles, and you don't get all the same little annoying little niggles as you do from American vehicles. So people pay for the experience. Now ask yourself this: if you go anywhere fancy and the valet is going to park your car, look at the vehicles that are parked out front. You're not going to find any American vehicles. Only way you're going to find an American vehicle parked out front is if you're in Texas and there's a whole bunch of vets out front. That's
Well,
it.
according to GM,
Hey, I
people
ain't
can't.
letting you get that out, Paul.
Well,
I
according
ain't
to
even gonna let
GM,
you get that out, Paul.
yeah, but according to GM, you know, is that a Buick? Oh, I didn't know it was a Buick. You know, nobody knows that it's a Buick. You know, it's just so awesome. Go ahead, Todd.
I'm not letting Paul get that off, man. There's a lot of big car collections out here, and American cars from old Cadillacs to old Lincolns. You'll see all that parked VIP at all of these fine establishments.
Yeah, but it's Texas though, so it doesn't really count. It's just jokes, though. It's just jokes.
Nah, it's just jokes, but still, fuck you, Paul. Yo, but Mike, you might be right though. That $40,000 Z06, it might be at play here.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that the Z06 right now is 50 grand, 50K out the door. He said by April, it will probably be down to 45K, and you'll start to see Grand Sports trickle down to about 42.
Wow.
Yeah, because when them C8s hit the streets, people gonna be getting rid of them C7.
But they said dealerships are actually marking it up.
Well, you know, historically speaking, once a car model gets redesigned, the preceding model plummets an additional 15-20% for the very first day. Historically speaking. Oh, I heard you say something, Mike, when I had jumped over really quick to type in a chat that I was watching the Formula One race live, and I would jump back on after the race. I heard you say something just before I cut out. You were saying that every GM dealer won't be able to carry a C8.
That's
Why
right.
is that?
That's right. So there has to be certain certifications that a dealership carries in a certain volume that they have to meet in order to carry a C8.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, they can't. Not everyone can carry a C8. So only major dealerships can actually do it. These smaller ones, they just don't have them. So I went to a dealership earlier, and I thought that they would have one because it was like maybe 5 minutes away. So I went down there to go look, and I said, you know, where's the C8? You know, do you have a C8 in stock? And he was like, oh yeah, what's a C8? I said, C8's Corvette, 2020 Corvette. Do you know what that is? He said, yeah. Oh yeah, come on back. He took me back there, man, and it was a 2000 beat up C5. I said, are you fucking kidding me? He was like, well, you know, it just needs a little bit of TLC. And I said, man, that is not what I asked for, man. He can
You know what? Hey, you know what, Mike? That C5 Z06, that's a deal too right now.
I don't know, man. That was a Z06 that I saw, man. That thing was beat up, man. I wouldn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole, man.
Hey, but the C5 Z06 had the 7-liter.
Yeah, it's the 505.
Yeah, 505 horsepower.
Yeah, they around 13, 14.
And then that car, the C5 Z06, how much did that weigh? That car was kind of light though, wasn't it? Like 3,200 pounds, 3,100 pounds?
Yeah, it was way light.
Well, yeah, if you use a lot of Fisher Price plastic on it, yeah, it doesn't. You know, I mean, it's horrific looking. I don't know if you guys ever been in one. They're pretty horrific.
Yeah. The interior, actually, the CO5 interior was worse than the C4 for the time. Now, I mean, obviously the C4 it was dated, but like at the time that the C4 came out, the interior was arguably better than what the C5 interior was when it came out. So they actually
did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Bro, did you really just say that?
They took a step back on the interior.
Oh my God, bro! The C7 is the first vet interior that was halfway decent. Halfway decent.
Yeah,
halfway decent. Every other interior for that, the C4, the 5, and the 6 interiors were crap, absolute crap. The C7 was at least halfway decent, and that's not saying that it was a good interior because it was not a good interior. It was halfway decent.
Well, keep in mind their parts been a lot of their Corvettes interior, so
Yeah,
like I was
there's only
telling
so
Mike,
much.
like,
There's only so far they can go with it.
yeah, but
like I
that's
was telling Mike earlier,
unacceptable for a company so big that has the resources. They
You'd
cheap out
expect more.
everything.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Absolutely,
like
bro.
I told Mike earlier in the stream, I was telling him about how the Volkswagen Golf interior is better than a Corvette C7.
But yeah, it is. My Beetle interior is much like night and day difference between that and the Vet. So, you know, embroidered seats, yellow stitching and stuff like that, man. I said, oh, what the hell? Why would I trade my Volkswagen in for that piece of crap? Like, what were you thinking? Like, you wasted my time. I should punch you in your mouth.
Hey Mike, one of my neighbors got a Beetle, and it says Dune on it. It's a
Yeah,
Dune edition. What's that?
Yeah, that's the last edition. That's the last edition of the Beatles.
Oh, okay,
Every
yeah.
German car
They
interior
got
is
the white
better
and
than
black.
anything that comes from America.
It's white and black.
Yeah, it's the white and black. It says Dune on it.
Yeah, there was a signature series that they had. It was supposed to be the concept was supposed to be an off-road Beetle. But there's no, I mean, the only off-road that's going is in the mall parking lots over speed bumps. So
Yeah. Like Jeeps.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How does this new Corvette compare to the Ford GT?
Oh,
I mean, are they in the same league or?
Nah, they're not in the same league. The Ford GT is a basically a street legal race car. It's a street legal race car, but the Corvette is not even close to that thing. Not even in the same class. It's a different spec.
Maybe the C8R might compare with the Ford GT, but the regular C8, that's not even close. It's apples and oranges.
Well, here's the thing about the C8R. The C8R is derived from a road car. The Ford GT is derived from a race car, so it's a distinct difference. And so, when you look at the actual time frame that the Ford GT was built, it was the actual pinnacle of like technology amalgamation with a street legal car. So at the time the C8R slated to be introduced, it won't be the pinnacle of that amalgamation. You see what I'm saying? You see the difference? So like it's almost like the Lexus LFA when it came out. It was like the pinnacle of amalgamating a street legal vehicle with all the racing technology. Just like the 918 Spider was when it came out, just like the 959 was when it came out. The C8R is a nice car, but it's not like it's going to be the pinnacle of it doesn't incorporate all of the pinnacle of technology that the other car.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Porsche 919. If Porsche took the 919, put front headlights on it, rear taillights on it, and put somewhat of a decent street interior in it, that would make it street legal. That's basically what the Ford GT is. It's a racing car designed from the ground up. They just added just enough of it to make it street legal, but it's a race car.
What's the direct competition for the Ford GT?
McLaren. It would have been the P1, but it's now what replaced the P1? The Senna. It would be the Senna.
Yeah.
And which one you get, Mike?
That's a good question and a hard choice, man. I like both, man, for different reasons, man. But
yeah, but that Senna is hard on the eyes, bro.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, man.
It is very hard on the eyes.
But like if you want
after a few German IPAs, you should be okay.
if you want the pinnacle of performance that your dollar can buy, like if you just like want a balls out sports car that's street legal, you probably want to go like something like a BAC mono, something like that. So like if you want to go like all out race car, you're not gonna even look at certain cars. You wouldn't even look at a McLaren or Ferrari. You get like a BAC mono. But the thing about a BAC mono is that it's not very practical.
Yes or no, it depends on Triz. Are we talking something that, because now you're talking a BAC mono is really a street legal track car. So now So now you have to keep in mind, once you start talking certain levels of trap performance, that's something you're actually not going to want to drive on the street because it's too extreme. It's too hard.
We talking about the Sienna is just under $1 million.
Senna.
Yeah, the Sienna is right under $1 million.
So
I mean, you
is
can't
the
get a Senna. You can't get a Senna for under $1 million.
well, because they have a high demand. They have a high
MSRP.
demand.
No,
Yeah,
well, I'm
that's
just the
MSRP.
MSRP. What's the Ford GT going for?
It's
Like
about
400.
it starts at 600.
Well, when it came out, it was 400.
Yeah, but
When it
as
came
soon
out,
as
it
you
was 400
start
plus.
adding colors to it, it goes up almost incredible.
Astronomically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
now,
certain colors was only limited edition, like the Gulf livery, like that kind of light blue with orange. They only made so many of those. Like if you got a hold of one of those, man, you sitting on a gold mine.
Dang, man. I
and
be telling
now,
people, man, these investments, man.
So they're also meant to be raced. You can't just leave them in the garage. They're not queens at all. They have to be driven.
yeah, but you have to understand something. If you are a person who is seriously looking at a $600,000 car, a $1 million car, or what is it, with the 1.2 million for the Ford GT, what is it, Club Track, whatever version, the one that's not the racing version, but it's anyway, it's like it's track, but it's not a full racer, but it's not street legal either. I don't get the point of it, but my point is, if you're the kind of person who's even looking seriously at these vehicles, you know what, you have 5, 10, 12 vehicles. So you're
Well,
not worrying about an investment.
if you're trying to build a racing team,
Right.
those type of cars are going to be there. And I mean, I forget what the cost is to get into what it was to get into racing maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But now, with the TCR series, man, they have dropped dramatically. Now you're talking 80 grand to get into racing, completely from a turnkey perspective. I think Complex has talked about this before. And now with the Ford GT and the McLaren Senna has done is reduced it even more. So yeah, there's a lot more millionaires out there, a lot of Chinese buyers, a lot of Arab oil tycoons, energy tycoons that are like, I want to put my money in.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we're absolutely, you know what, you're seeing that every day. There are more and more racing teams just popping up.
That's hard though, bro. That's hard, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna wire it over. Yeah, that's what I want. Let me wire it over. I have my team wire the money over to you.
Why do you say that?
Crazy. No, I'm just saying, just to be able to say I'm spending. I spent $1 million this morning on a car. It should be here in 3 days.
Not everyone could buy them either, right? So they have a specific list of buyers that they pitched it out to before they even, before you even know that it's available.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it like that with the Porsche 918? You had to be on the list or something, some special list.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
You sure did.
That's cold, man.
Yeah, I think you had to already have owned the Carrera GT, or you already had to have owned the 911 GT3 RS or the GT2 RS. Then you were available to have your name put on the possible allotment.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all
that's
hit that
insane.
super chat. Y'all hit that super chat.
Tri-City's a joke, man.
But if you have the money, sometimes people will sell their allotment. Now, sometimes the allotment go for more than a vehicle costs. Like sometimes you just to get the slot may cost you a couple $1 million, and then you still got to buy the vehicle.
Mike,
Paul says that this is hard on his eyes.
This is
It is.
It has a butterface.
Yeah,
that is definitely
a butterface.
Definitely.
Nah, bro, you got to see the two-tone. You got to see the two-tone, bro.
No, I think I like
exaggerating.
the Koenigsegg better than this.
I
Nah,
mean,
man,
when
you gotta
when
see
has the
this.
Koenigsegg ever been unattractive though?
Facts.
True.
And also, no other car in the world has those Koenigsegg doors. The way those doors open, it's insane.
Mhm.
So, did you see the air actuated valve system they was working on the engines?
No.
Oh,
Koenigsegg?
instead of springs.
Yeah, it's no valve train really. It's all
It-
air
it's
operated.
yeah,
It's
All
crazy.
actuated.
it's
Yeah.
it's a pneumatic operated valve train, which is exactly what is used in Formula One. That's all. So since McLaren races in Formula One, they used the same pneumatic actuated drivetrain from a Formula One motor. They used it on the Senna.
Well, that's what Koenigsegg got.
Well, I mean, it's old tech. It's nothing new. It's new for the road. Formula One has been around for about 25 plus years now.
Yo, Mike Tripper, he done hit the GTR version, bro.
Well, Paul said it's hard on his eyes, so I said, let me see if I can find something that's a little bit softer.
Bro, this is hard on the eyes, man.
Nah, that's
Hard
tough
on
right
the
there.
eyes.
That's tough, bro.
Each his own, bro. This is hard on the eyes. And I've actually seen one in person at the dealer a few months back. Still hard on the eyes, man.
But it's for racing, Paul. How come that's not acceptable?
To me, I don't know. This thing to me is hard in the eyes, man. I don't see anything attractive about that car from any angle.
Well, a lot of people say that about Toronto Burke, but somebody knocked up.
Oh, come on.
God damn it. I just went to go grab a beer and I come back
Gorilla.
and
He
Teron
looks
Burke
like a
is
gorilla in a dress.
being brought up in a car chat.
Mhm.
I think these Speedtails are all sold out too, if I'm not mistaken. These are the one that have the 3-seat layout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these are all sold out too. I don't know why they still have it on the site. This just to tease you.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I saw a video. I don't know if it was just a concept or if McLaren is going through with it. Is it true McLaren is planning, and they've asked Gordon Murray to design a successor to the F1?
From what I've heard.
Wow. I wonder what that's going to look like.
Keep in mind that McLaren is actually 7 out of the 9 designers came from Lotus.
Yep. But you know what, man? I'm just kind of generally, I don't know, man. I'm kind of cool on McLaren right now. The P1 was it. You know,
Yeah.
The P1 was it. Like everything else that they've done since, I'm like, okay.
Nah, that's
Especially, and then I
17
look at the
horsepower, bro.
goddamn Senna, and I was like, what?
What
is
should
that?
should the Senna actually be beautiful to look at? I mean, it's a racing car, right?
But I mean, there's
the
still
Porsche 919 to me looks a hell of a lot better than the McLaren Senna.
Oh, you know what? What that Speedtail got different wheels in the front.
No,
Yeah.
it just has a cover on the
it's
front.
a cover. It's a
Yeah,
cover.
it's a cover. It's a cover to increase the or decrease the drag.
Yeah. I mean, this look, when if you're a McLaren, especially if you're a McLaren, there's you got to strike that balance of form and function, dude. You really do. McLaren is just not the brand that goes purely function, right?
Well,
and less form.
I have 2 words for you, Complex.
What's
Ron Dennis. He left the company. Once he
ain't
left,
been the same since.
Ron Dennis was McLaren.
He
for
was
decades.
McLaren.
Literally.
He was the reason why McLaren was successful in Formula One.
Oh, and who else? Who was the driver that Ron Dennis hired when he was a little young nothing that nobody
Senna.
knew?
Senna.
Nope.
No.
Wait. No, I'm sorry.
Hamilton.
No, it's Hamilton. Because he had, dude, I've seen interviews where he was at Lewis Hamilton's karting events when he was a kid.
Right.
Yeah. He had eyes on Hamilton when he was like 8 years old.
Let me tell you, the McLarens is popping around here.
It pops everywhere, man. They can't keep them on the showroom floors. They're actually killing Ferrari sales.
This is the one right here, Mike. That's McLaren
That's
right
hot.
there.
Yeah.
That's McLaren right there.
That is hot, and that might be the last car that Ron Dennis was the head of McLaren.
Yeah, this is McLaren right here.
That's McLaren.
That's I'd rather have that same.
Shit, I'll take.
You would
the
rather
P1.
have the what?
I'll take the P1, bro.
You mean
Yeah,
the
P1,
Senna?
P1 all day. P1
I'm
all
sorry,
day.
I'll take the P1,
Tie
bro.
City.
Yeah, but
It's called
$2 million
Senna.
for a
It's named
P1,
after
man. That's
Ayrton
hard. That's
Senna.
a hard pill to swallow, man.
I'll
2
take it over
million,
the
yeah.
Senna, bro.
2 million.
Yeah, the prices increase.
Because everybody knows that's the best McLaren car.
Well, they only made so many of them too. The dealerships, like I had spotted one in Boston downtown at the one of the big hotels, and when I was at the dealership, I spoke about it, and they said they know exactly who it is. I said,
Wow.
damn.
Wow.
They know, so they know everybody who has a McLaren. They know exactly who you are.
Yeah. Because ain't nobody,
That's
just
it.
not any old
Yeah.
bodies rolling around with one of these.
Yeah, that's that $2 million. Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Well, before it wasn't $2 million. Now it's $2 million. That's what the value is now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you gotta remember, this is part of the so-called holy trinity, right? The three best street legal cars in the world. The P1, the what is it? The La Ferrari, and what's the third one? The Porsche 918.
The F40 not in there?
The who?
The F40?
No.
Bro,
man, that's 90s.
Listen,
it's 90s.
Go back to sleep and enjoy the rest of your nap. 40. Wow.
Azuria 23 is asking about Paganis. Paganis they're dope. The thing about it is that
they're form over function.
They're form over. Well, here's the thing.
Perfect.
With the new supercar regulations, as it pertains to the WEC, okay, you're gonna start to see Paganis, Bugattis. I'm sorry, not Bugattis.
You said Bacardi.
No. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what my wires crossed here. What's the whatchamacallit? Bugatti. Bugattis, Paganis,
Hondas.
Yeah, you're gonna see all of those now
Peugeot
in race trim. Well, no, we're talking about this the supercar, the new regulations for WEC, where you're not gonna have supercars in there. I'm sorry, hypercars.
Yeah,
hypercar.
So now we're gonna see Paganis and all of those brands raced out. Okay, that's when I think we can start to bring those brands into the mix of discussion, because a lot of those brands, they're hypercars. They don't have no race heritage though. That's
like Kona said.
Yeah, they have zero race heritage. So it's like they're cool to look at. Yeah, they're fast in a straight line, but
Also, think about this. I don't know if anyone knows. Koenigsegg, 2017, Koenigsegg sold 100 cars. In the history since he has been in business, which is in the early 90s, he sold 200 cars. 100 of them he sold in that 1 year.
Wow.
When you buy a Koenigsegg, it literally does not exist. They don't even have a chassis. When you buy it, then they literally from thin air create your car for you.
It's BTO. It's BTO.
Built to order.
Yeah.
Literally built to order. He doesn't even have inventory, stock, nothing. When you go to the factory, whatever is in the factory is being built for customers who literally already bought those 1 or 2 cars. Literally.
And you literally will never see a Koenigsegg out in the wild. Like it's like
I've seen one on the Autobahn, but one.
Keep in mind. Well, if you go to Cars and Coffee, most of the
you'll see
anyone who's the owner of a major dealership, the CEO usually has one. That's just a part of their collection. But what I'm saying here is, when it comes to the explosion of oil revenues and gas revenues in the Middle East. That's where a lot of those new customers are coming from.
Hell yeah, most of them, dude. It's usually dudes from Dubai and Saudis. They're the ones buying all
Bahrain.
this shit. Bahrain. They're the
Qatar.
majority of the buyers. Well,
Yeah.
no. Well, let me take that back, because now your new crop buyers are Chinese.
Chinese, yep.
To an extent, yeah. To an extent, yeah.
Dude, I watched a documentary about the oil tycoon guys having custom Ferraris made.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I
one
mean.
off.
They're the buyers.
Old news, Todd. Old news. But no, you're right. But yeah, that is a fact.
Mhm.
It's a fact.
Yeah. So in order for me to afford something like this, I would have to get a kit car.
Super
Shit.
chat.
Super chat.
Patreon.
Oh
Patreon.
shit.
Yeah, if you like
Get
what
you
you're hearing from Mike
an
V,
old Fiero and
Patreon.
put a body kit on it.
Right.
Old Fiero. Wow.
Yo,
Well-
what do you do though, man? You get a car like that, just man, Dallas Rose will tear that motherfucker up.
Oh God.
Oh man,
Dallas roads can't be as bad as Michigan roads.
I
They
don't know.
can't be
dude.
as bad as NYC
Can't be as bad as
roads
Chicago roads, man.
or New York City roads.
Yes.
What was that? What, Mike? What was that right there? Was that a Pagani?
Nah, this is more like a Punani. This is a
Damn.
it's an SLC.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yo, that's the kid car.
that's a kit car.
Now the
That's the
front looks
closest
like a
thing.
Saline. The front looks like a Saline a little bit.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
front
like
looks-
a
Yeah,
Saline
that's-
Speedster, not Speedster, but a Saline
Yeah.
S7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the closest thing I'm gonna get to a hypercar.
You know who builds legit kit cars? I mean, to the point where there's racing series for these things. Factory 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, Factory 5 Racing. Yeah.
Yeah,
they build a GTM.
yeah.
Nah,
They
it's
test
cold.
their cars out at Willow all the time. They got a new car that runs a boxer motor, a Subaru.
Yeah. Only thing about the boxer motor, man, it just sounds like a lawnmower. It sounds like, I'm not a big fan of that.
Is the boxer motor still air cooled or is it water cooled?
Water.
Water
It's
cooled.
water. It's always been water cooled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Porsche boxer. You mean the?
Well, you know what?
No, Subaru.
You know-
Subaru boxer.
Japanese
Boxer.
boxer.
With the
Yeah,
with the boxer
Subi,
motor though,
Subi, yeah.
with the boxer motor, the issue with the boxer motor is the unequal links of the exhaust manifold. So you can actually modify the exhaust to where it sounds more normal. It even out the exhaust pulses.
Well, in the factory 5s, man, because they're not being crammed into a Subaru, you have more freedom to design your exhaust. And so with the factory 5s, man, like, no, it's legit. There's no, the whole exhaust design on them is completely different than the boxer applications in a Subaru.
So Mike, this is a kit car, right?
Yep. 43 grand.
43 grand.
Yeah,
And
it's a
kit
company in
car-
Austin that'll put it together for 75. I think they come with LS motors like
No, they don't come with LS motors, but you can put an LS
that's an
motor.
option. That's an option.
It's one
Yeah,
motor.
that's what they put in them.
Because
Well,
they're
that
cheap.
company puts them in them. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're
the
cheap.
LSs are cheap.
Go ahead, Paul.
the interior still looks better than a Corvette.
Damn.
That looks
I'll tell you-
better than a Corvette.
I'll tell you right now, man. Like I would put a turbocharged 4 in there and call it a day.
Mm.
Turbocharged.
Which four though?
I mean, if you really wanted to just go economical, you could go Ecotech.
Nah, man, this is a
No.
supercar.
I said if you want to go economical, you can.
Nah,
the
bro.
Ecotech.
I
Okay,
would
but
do
turbocharged
anything
Ecotech is
small.
proven,
Hey,
but
see,
if
y'all
you-
telling me to go to sleep. See what I'm saying?
Hold on.
wait. I gave you a pre-qualifier. I said if you want to go economical, you put a turbocharged Ecotech because it's the best bang for buck.
Okay,
Now,
well, think about
if
this.
you want to
Hold-
go,
Smaller
hold
than
on,
a
Complex.
Nissan RB26 DETT.
no, but no,
That's
Paul,
the
I'm talking
smallest I would go.
turbocharged 4-cylinder.
Oh, well,
If you-
okay, let me ask you this complex.
I
Let me
wouldn't
ask you this
put any-
complex. Let me ask you this complex, right?
So,
So when you say that particular engine, what application are you talking about? Street? Or you can use it on a track or what?
what you mean for like
Both.
a turbocharged Ecotech?
Yeah, like for what you said. You said like if you were to get this vehicle, and you said that you would put a turbo four in it,
turbocharged Ford. Yeah.
where would you use this vehicle at?
No.
Where would you?
Well, okay, if it's me, like I said, I'm thinking about it how I usually think about like carts and all that kind of stuff, right? Because like I could take one chassis and I can go low end or I can go high end, right? So looking at this, I say, okay, economical. Like, so let's say if I had a shop and I said, all right, I'm gonna do like what Thai City was talking about, that shop that we're building, right? And what they do is they opt to put an LS. Now for me, I'm like best bang for buck is going to be turbocharged 4-cylinder. If you want to go low end, Ecotech. If you want to go high end, K20.
But here's the thing though. How much of a price difference is a LS motor is versus an Ecotech? Like you're really not looking at that much. The LS motors are cheap.
They're
They're super
$5,000. $5,000
God damn, really?
Yes.
$5,000
for a crate motor. The Coyote the Coyote that Ford produces crate wise is about 6 to 7K. Yeah, it's about that.
No, with
Damn.
a transmission, the Coyote, because I was looking at a Coyote because I was just doing some research about an actual engine and transmission swap for a Mercury Marauder, and it's
Okay.
$10,000.
That isn't bad.
Wow.
That's not bad.
That's crazy.
No. Because look, no,
It's
you
a
know
Ford
that makes
motor, but-
that makes sense. What you guys just said, it makes sense because I'm following this dude who basically he bought out a wrecked out Huracan, right? It was racing in some series over in Europe and it caught fire. The regulator blew out and the shit caught fire. He bought it, and basically what he did was when he got it in, they rebuilt the back end. And he dumped in a dual turbo LS into a fucking Huracan. And I was sitting there like, well, why would you do that? But now it makes sense because an LS motor can be had for next to nothing.
Listen, I already told you the motor I would use, the RB26 DETT. Bulletproof, you can't kill it, makes insane amounts of horsepower and will take high boost pressures. And if you want to change out the headers, if you want to port it out, the thing can make close to 800 horsepower with the stock block. Just
Yeah,
change
you have
out
to touch
the heads and
Here's
the
the
Yeah,
thing,
you don't have to
here's the
touch
thing,
the
Paul.
bottom, man.
The
Here's the thing,
RB26 DETT and the 2JZ are probably the two
That-
best motors that ever
yeah.
came out of
Two
But here's
Jay-Z
the
and a
problem.
Nas.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that Nissan and the Toyota Motors is that the actual weight.
Yeah, I was about to just say that. The weight.
Like you're talking about an engine is probably about 120 pounds more than the LS. About 120 pounds more than the LS. So you're talking about a car like this. You want lightweight.
That's why I said turbocharged 4-cylinder.
You make it up by getting carbon fiber wheels.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Come on,
wheels
more
on a
than the
car that's got a
car.
turbocharged
Check this out,
4-cylinder.
complex though. Check this out, complex. Your best bang for your buck will be, believe it or not, I know this is sacrilegious, a transverse mounted 4-cylinder.
Well, what do you mean what do you mean like what the head? Wait,
Transverse.
Like the layout in the first NS6.
Yeah, transverse mounted because it's gonna put all that weight is gonna be in center mass.
yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it's ugly. I rather have a longitudinally mounted. I don't care what the vehicle dynamics it affects. I like function, but there's a certain amount of form.
No. When I'm talking about a turbocharged 4, it's gonna be transverse. You're not gonna look if I dump a turbocharged K20 in there, I'm not gonna put the transmission that goes to it. I'm not gonna put that in that car. I'm gonna make an adapter plate, and then I'm gonna go with a stout aftermarket transmission or a transmission from another car. And like I said, I'm just gonna use an adapter plate, but it's gonna be transverse. You got to put a transverse motor. You don't, because look, the vibratory harmonics. If you mount it right, like if it's not transverse, okay, then what happens is that you're going to have vibrational movements that's basically going to make the car move side to side. So you have to have it transverse.
So Ulysses, what about the 4-cylinder motor that was in the SRT, the neon SRT?
The SRT, which one?
Neon SRT4.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the engine code on that. I mean, look, any stout 4-cylinder that's turbocharged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going weight versus horsepower.
The 150, 200 pounds that you get out of a cast iron block is way more beneficial.
Huh?
Speak on it. Speak on it. Speak on it.
Well, yeah, please.
Yeah, speak on it.
Okay, well, I'm finna speak on it because
I have your Ambien waiting, so please.
well, I'm finna tell you. I'm finna tell you exactly why. Because whenever you look at these aluminum blocks, the meat that they have to take out from around the cylinder head takes away from the rigidity of the engine.
Yeah, it weakens
You'll never be able to get that boost pressure that you want to make power with. It's not going to happen. You won't keep the head on it.
You can you can if the engine mounting, so basically the motor becomes part of the stiffening. It actually becomes part of the structure of the chassis. That's what they do with like a lot of like the LMP cars.
The Italians.
That's what I mean. It's actually a stiffening member, especially with single. I was going to just say it. Single seater cars. What they do is the engine is actually a part of this. It's actually a part of the stiffening structure of the car. It's not. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
But what about the 4-cylinder motor in the what is it? It's the AMG C43. It's not an AMG motor, but it's the most powerful 4-cylinder engine ever mass produced.
Yeah,
but we don't have enough data on that engine yet, though. Like as far as like what's the long term survivability of that engine. Like,
I mean, I don't know anybody who's running it. I don't know.
When it comes down to it, the cylinder wall thickness in these aluminum motors, from the B series Hondas to the SR20 engines, they just not holding up. Like the 4Gs,
what?
The A4AGs.
Wait. Wait, time out.
They not.
Don't they use cylinder liners?
Yeah.
No, man.
They use sleeves?
Manufacturers make their blocks out of aluminum. And then you have to
you gotta sleeve it. You gotta sleeve it.
Then you gotta hope and pray that the sleeves don't slip.
Oh my!
No, I know too many guys. I know too many guys who are running.
Bro, I built Honda motors.
I know you built them, but bro, I'm in SoCal. I know way more dudes that have built. Dude, the old shop that I used to be a part of, dude, we were running 11-second single. We're talking 1.5, dude, carbureted 1.5, a Honda motor for a Civic. We were running 11.2 quarter miles, dude. The sleeves weren't going nowhere.
On a stock block.
On a stock block, yes. Yes, and you know, we were running stock Honda pistons. The thing was, we were running Honda pistons. What's up?
I got it. Because Ty City hasn't done it, he doesn't think anyone can do it. You know what?
I'm sorry. There's too many guys that I know.
But I'm just saying, as far as like having a stout engine,
you can, yes, dude. Turbocharged K20. Yes, stroked out K24. Yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Lotus runs a K20.
Absolutely. Hello.
They run a K20
with high boost.
Fucking Honda motor in it. With high boost. Yes.
High boost.
In regards to Complex's point about a 4-cylinder, I don't know if I would run a 4-cylinder in one of these kit cars, because it's meant to take an 8 and a 10 cylinder. This is a BMW X63, I think. Motor in this, and it does sound like a Lambo when it takes off. It does sound like a Lambo. So
I mean, if you're running something like that, of course, yeah.
How much does the car weigh? Those engines are
2,900 pounds. Why is it questionable? Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Reliability issues on those engines.
That's what I mean, dude. Like a turbocharged. It's a 4-cylinder. With a turbo. It's like, dude.
How much power you looking to put to this K motor?
500 easy. 500 easy.
So
I get.
You can get 500. You get 500 reliable horsepower.
I give you 500.
500 reliable horsepower. 500 reliable horsepower. You don't have to get crazy with the valve train and it's a K, dude. You got dudes that they slap a slug on a stock K20 and no problem.
Complex. What is a Evo motor doing? You think 500 is 500 the max?
It's not the max. What I'm saying is best bang for buck.
But the car
It's not
is
the
light.
best 4-cylinder you can put in there.
But the car is very light.
You can choose. What I'm saying is, Ty. What I'm saying is, Ty. I said, look, you can start on the economical end. You can go with an Ecotech. I've seen import like back in the day when we were doing import. Tile speak. I'm sorry. Trizzle speak on this. Okay, you had dudes that were running Cavaliers. They were turbocharged Ecotechs. They were fucking with Hondas, dude. Okay, like on the economical end, you can go Ecotech. On the higher end, okay, we can go.
Or you can get an old Eclipse motor.
That's what I'm saying.
Those Eclipses was
that's
killing.
Pick one.
That's pretty much the same engine as the Evo.
But I'm saying it is. But I'm saying pick one. You can go on the low end, you go Ecotech. On the high end, we can go K20. We can go 4G63. Don't really matter. What I'm saying is that bang for buck. Don't matter what 4-cylinder you want to go with. 4-cylinder turbocharged. Okay, we're talking horsepower to weight ratio. So you can go slap a bigger motor in there. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm sorry. I was just saying that they're built to take high boost. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that if I'm looking at it, I'm gonna bet on horsepower to weight ratio with a turbocharged 4. Performance-wise, you're gonna get more out of that kit car than you will slapping a heavier motor in there with more drivetrain components, heavier weight. There's just more you can work with when you have less weight involved, and you're able to manipulate that horsepower variables via a turbocharger and a standalone ECU like an AEM Infinity.
The number one enemy of performance is weight. Lightweight will always outperform heavyweight. And as weight on the vehicle goes down, you don't need a lot of horsepower. You look at WEC. A lot of those Le Mans winning cars.
What are they running? What are they running?
They're only making somewhere between 500 to 700 horsepower.
It's all the hybridization and all the other shit that adds to the performance. But dude, they're like, dude, we'll throw a turbocharged 4 in there.
Yeah, like LMP2 is where you're talking 800-900 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower. But most of the cars that you're seeing, bro, the Ford GT, it's only making 640 horsepower, bro. You don't need a lot of horsepower.
You don't need it. You got to work with weight, dude. Like, it's not all about
That's the number one enemy of performance. It is weight. And the number 2 enemy of performance is heat.
Yep.
So if I heard Mike correctly saying that SLC car weighs 1,900 pounds,
I think it's about 2,900 fully loaded.
2,900 fully loaded. So that's okay. 2,900 pounds, bro. 400 horsepower will make that car a bat out of hell. 400 horsepower. It is nothing.
It's all about weight, dude. It's about weight. It's not about power.
It's not about power. And it's 0 to 60. It's not about that.
And the only reason is really that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not my guy.
No, I was just gonna say the only reason it's really that heavy. I think the wheels is probably the heaviest thing on there. The chassis itself is just,
Wait. Mike, what car is that on? Which one are you talking about?
This is the SLC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then if you have a car, right, that's lighter, right, and making less power, you can do with a narrower wheel.
Yep.
So you start talking
whoa. wait, hold on. Let me address that, Triz.
Wait, no,
You
that's
don't?
not necessarily true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead. I know where
That's
you're
not
going. Go
necessarily
ahead.
true because
Go ahead.
the width of your tire
Exactly.
controls your front end handling and how much of that power you can put to the ground.
It's the
That's
material.
why racing wheels
It's
are
the
so wide.
Yes, it's the
Because you need the
material.
widest contact patch as possible.
Okay,
No,
but check
you
this
can't run
out
a
though.
narrow
Check this
wheel.
out. Check this out. Now let's talk about the Mazda Spec series. Look how narrow them tires are.
It's
Right,
spec.
but now
It's
we're
spec.
talking Mazda
That's spec.
Spec
That's
series.
spec, dude. No.
As
But
we
hey, but
start
they do
talking,
just fine. They do just
They
fine.
do just fine, but the thing about it is that the more contact
people
patch,
with wider tires would have an advantage.
yes, the more contact patch, the more rubber you have on the road, more grip. Okay,
absolutely.
the difference
more
is
weight.
Or the more G's you can take as well.
It's not more weight because we're talking about what materials you're using for the wheels. If there's a mag wheels, dude, I run mag wheels on my carts, bro. Let me tell you something.
Okay, but hold on now.
That's
we're talking about
rotational math.
economics. No, you just said economics though. You just said economics. So you gonna pay for mag wheels in a car?
Yes, dude. Yes. Let me explain it. Let me explain it. Okay, because again, it's all about horsepower to weight ratio. So if I know I can get solid output, you have to do the calculations on it. You have to do the calculations on it. If
What?
I know that I'm saving weight, we're talking about rotational mass. Okay, that's very important because we're talking about rotational mass and unsprung weight, not sprung weight, unsprung weight. Your wheels are unsprung weight. So yes, I will cash out for mag wheels. I will go with a turbocharged 4-cylinder because that's the economical route that I can take to get usable power that I can plant to the wheels. But I'm gonna cash out for wheels that are gonna rob me of the horsepower coming from the motor via unsprung weight. So yeah, I'll go mag wheels, dude.
So essentially, we see parallels of the thinking black man and the quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray in that he's willing to spend more on his wheels than a business.
Super Triz, you ain't shit. You ain't shit, dude.
Wait, only if he's paying for them using beta male coins.
Yeah, I'll use beta male coins, dude. Don't worry about it, man. I'll use my cryptos.
But bro, listen, weight is the number one enemy of performance. You will always, and they always tell you in racing, where is the first place you want to spend money? Is it more power? No, reduce your weight first.
Yes.
You will get the most bang for your buck reducing weight first.
I have a question.
One enemy of performance. Weight.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, any of you ever try the lithium batteries that are supposed to be really, really light?
Yep.
And replace the lead acid?
I use them for racing. Yep.
I put one on my motorcycle.
Yep.
Now, do you notice a difference in handling the way the car feels? I mean, can you notice that difference?
Yeah, there's a night and day difference between a 50, 60-pound lead acid battery
and a 20-pound lithium.
Well, some of the new ones,
sometimes 15, 10 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the new ones I just saw last week was 8 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
He just built the car and he got it underneath his hood, and you wouldn't even notice it.
Wow. Now, is it usable for everyday use?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the 8 pounds.
No,
not the 8 pounds. Now you got to trickle charge those.
You have to trickle charge those, but just as an application, I mean, most devices that run that are battery operated typically are running like a lithium. Some sort of lithium polymer, just because of the charge density that you can get in the size. Okay, now you have more exotic lithium applications. Okay, that's where your Neo EP9s, and your basically your electric hypercars, the new Lotus. Mike, what's it called again?
Evija.
The Evija, all those. Okay, those are running very exotic lithium chemistries, right? Which basically make the cars light for an electric car anyway. They make them light.
Super Triz, to really hit your point about wheels and weight. Formula One, the wheels are made of titanium because the wheels are so wide, they would be heavy. But because they use titanium, even though they're so
light.
wide, they weigh absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because titanium is 10 times less the weight of steel.
The
Paul.
rubber weighs more than the wheel.
Paul,
Yes,
check
it
this.
does.
Paul, check this out. So the dude that I was, my buddy that I'm wrenching for, I was wrenching for last night, right? So he's a bigger guy.
Right.
So in the class that we run in karting, he's 30 pounds over. He's a big guy, right? So you know what this dude did? He put the money up. Every goddamn bolt on the cart, he replaced with a titanium with a titanium equivalent.
Right.
You know how much weight we saved on the cart?
I can't even begin to
on
imagine.
a cart, bro. 4 pounds.
Bro, have you ever held magnesium bolts or magnesium
They
nuts?
weigh nothing. They
Nothing.
weigh nothing.
They
weigh
feel like you're
nothing.
holding
Well,
plastic.
I've held a magnesium bike. I went to a bike shop one time, and I was looking. They were trying to sell me a magnesium bike. This is when I was going to get an actual bicycle.
Right.
And the magnesium bike, kid you not, you could pick it up with like one finger.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're super light.
It weighs nothing. It weighs absolutely nothing.
That's what Mr. AMG on YouTube picked up a shaft that was made out of magnesium, and he not the shaft, but the wheel that was made out of magnesium from Mercedes, man.
Yeah,
and,
mag wheels.
Yeah. And he lifted up with just his pinky.
Yep.
It was like nothing.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I will run a wide wheel on a wide tire on a mag wheel with a turbocharged 4. Fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Bad out of hell. Bad out of hell.
Well, wouldn't it have been cheaper for him just to go to like Jenny Craig or something?
Oh, my buddy. He's working on that too. He's working on that part too.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Complex. I seen this machine right at Walmart where they was like, people, you could take your old cell phone and put it in there. And I just thought about all the materials that they probably getting for steel.
Oh my God, dude! Don't get me started on that. We're talking about metal reclamation, all the gold connectors and all that type of shit.
Silver and lithium.
Silver, lithium, gold. Yep. That's why those machines are there. It's to reclaim, it's to reclaim those metals.
Dang, man! I seen that motherfucker. I was like, wow, people don't even know.
They don't know.
Mike, this is a sweet looking ride.
It is, man. That's the closest thing I'm gonna get to a Pagani or anything like that, man.
This is
What's that?
sweet.
Who's that?
The SLC.
Yeah. It's pretty proven too, because it don't look that. I looked at these about 5 or 6 years ago. It looked like they're the same.
Yeah, they haven't really changed much outside of some of the electronics that go into it, but
you can still buy it in sections, like when you start with the frame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You build your own car out of it.
Yeah.
You redesign the shell. Basically, you could design your own body for it and just throw it onto the monocoque.
But I think you're going to see a lot more of these probably by 2022, 2023, because of all these electric batteries coming off the market from like the Leafs and the Teslas, and people are going to be able to create their own electric cars now.
Yep.
You know,
plus
Mike,
I think the stigma of kit cars is like wearing out.
Well, I mean, it depends on the kit. That's really what it is. I mean, because we're traditionally looking at these kit cars you find in the back of like some road and track mag or some shit like that, right? But then, like I said, then you got like companies like Factory 5 where there's an entire race series built off of their kits, right? To where that with the kit that you're getting is literally a damn fully built rolling chassis for the most part, and all you got to do is just add your components.
Mike, I know the other night, Mike, you were talking about the Mustang GT500 has a option kit that it comes from the factory with carbon fiber wheels.
Yep.
A track pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I absolutely would not put carbon fiber wheels on a car that's going to see the street. One pothole and that wheel is literally
mag
you can't
wheels.
fix it. You can't replace it.
Wheels.
It's literally in the garbage because you can't repair carbon fiber.
But those are it's under warranty. It's under warranty. So As long as the wheel's under warranty, they're gonna cover it. They have to cover it. So
I would say that I think carbon fiber wheels when they're 3D printed, because what you can do is you can design the structural rigidity in it, okay, in a CAD design and then print it, okay, versus if you're doing like the traditional mold, if you're doing this like the traditional mold making in order to produce like a carbon fiber wheel or something like that. I think when somebody, and there's some people out there that are actually doing this, but I think carbon fiber wheels will work when the structural rigidity in the wheel is when it's printed, because 3D printing allows you to make very intricate like weaves, very intricate triangulation.
Yeah, but how do you carbon print? I'm sorry. How do you 3D print carbon fiber? It has to be made by hand.
No, Paul. What it
Carbon
is,
fiber?
it's no, because dude, so next year I'm gonna experiment with printing carbon fiber floors for my carts, because we ran carbon fiber floors last year on our carts, but we had Tim McCamus Performance actually making them. This is a dude who builds he makes all this type of shit for pro stock and drag funny cars.
I think what Paul is saying, that the whole wheel itself cannot be made through 3D printing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe
I wanna see
can.
the back.
It can actually.
How?
no, I think these wheels might be 2 or 3 piece.
No. What I'm saying is, dude, one piece carbon fiber, it can be done.
How? I don't understand how, because
3D print, bro. Like it.
But
Yeah, is
to
it
my
one?
understanding, carbon fiber, you have to take a sheet and then lay it.
No, it's the
take
carbon
2 or
fiber.
3 more
No,
sheets
no,
and then
no,
lay it.
It's carbon fiber.
and then
Carbon.
resin.
One at a
See,
time.
look,
One
look,
at a
look.
time. One at a time. One at a
No,
time.
man, I'm gonna explain to Paul. What it
Okay.
is just like regular carbon fiber sheets, right? What
Right.
gives it its strength is the directions of the fiber.
Right.
Okay, the filament prints the fibers in the same direction. It doesn't just like ooze it out and all of the fibers within the filament are pointing in all these different directions. All of the fibers, they're all in the same direction. No different.
Oh,
No
I
different than
got
it
you.
with the sheet.
Now I
It
follow
prints
you.
all the fibers in the same direction. That's
Bro,
how.
so that's literally like what we saw from the television show Westworld, where it's printing in different direct. I got you. So now, but now you still have to apply the resin and then bake it in the autoclave. But okay, I
Mhm.
follow you.
But
Yeah,
let me ask you this,
but that would be
complex though.
very expensive though.
It is
But-
I gotta
expensive.
see
It
the
is.
back of
It
these
is.
wheels.
But is it actually 3D printing, or is it a combination of 3D printing and water jetting?
No, it's 3D printing. It's
So
because
they
you buy
don't-
the filament is in a roll. It's just like
But hold on,
TLC.
but they don't water jet it at all. Are you sure they don't water jet it?
No,
You can't,
dude.
you can't.
Dude, there's plenty of it. Look, there's plenty of examples of this shit on YouTube.
It's not metal.
It's not.
You don't water jet it. It has to literally basically be woven.
Yeah, it's carbon.
Yeah, how
The
do
thing
you
about
weave?
it is the fibers.
BWs.
Yeah, I teed that one up.
Oh shit. Okay.
By dumpster diving for it. That's how.
No, it's all about how the filament is made. Okay, because
Right.
all the nozzle does is heat the filament and then print it out based on the design. But you have to ensure that the fibers are going in the same direction. That is what gives carbon fibers. Look at a carbon fiber sheet.
Right. I know. Listen, I know. I got it. Trust me. I know.
No, I was talking. I was
My
just
thing
kind of
is-
answering Super Trent's question.
But my question is that works for flat surfaces. When you're talking a wheel with complex surfaces,
Mhm.
how do you weave something that when it's come out, whether it's a machine doing it or it's done by hand, it's literally a sheet. You now have to bend it to that shape, hold it in that shape, apply the resin, and then bake it in the autoclave. I don't see how that's possible with anything other than simple shapes.
No,
What tire
because
shop
the
you going to
filament,
whenever
the
you put up
filament is
flat?
already so the thing is this: when it comes through the nozzle, it's heated through the nozzle and then it's put into form.
So it's applying the resin with the form at the same time.
Yes, it's not. There's no baking. It's all one process.
Yeah. So is it one continuous carbon thread? One continuous thread?
It's literally it's a filament roll. So that means in the filament, the fibers are already pointing in the same direction. All the nozzle is doing is just putting it into a shape.
So it's applying the weave simultaneously with the resin. But my question is this though. My question is this: how do you?
Yes.
No, please don't. Please, please don't.
No, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul.
I got enough of that for my daughter. So, but okay. No, I got it because at room temperature, the resin is liquid. It doesn't dry until you bake it. So, okay, I got it. I can see it, but I still think that would be prohibitively expensive to make.
It is. No, there's that part. Yeah.
Now I have a 3D printer, and I'm not seeing how you're getting the crisscross pattern that makes carbon fiber so strong.
The weave, right? The weave.
So you print the weave. The X and Y,
the X and Y direction. Yes. If you look at, so let's take the shape of a wheel, right?
Right.
Okay. So what it's not going to do is the nozzle's not going to go around in a circle. It's going to print side to side.
Okay.
Right. It's going to print side to side, and based on how you program the printing attributes, what it'll do is it'll go one side and then it'll cross, and then one side and then cross. So it'll print the cross weave. What I'm saying is that all of the fibers point in the same direction in the filament. So if you want cross, then you have to program the nozzle to print that way.
So now my question here is, I'm following you there. So when it comes to spokes, and when it comes to the hole to fit around the spindle, and the holes to accommodate the bolts, the filament has to go inside of a form, and then it has to physically make that pattern and then fill out that space with carbon fiber material and resin simultaneously. That seems extreme. That doesn't seem possible, but you're telling me it is possible.
It is possible, and that's the reason why, like, especially if you're printing like very intricate, if it's very intricate designs, because look, the printer is gonna go based off of the CAD design.
Okay.
So whatever the CAD design stipulates, okay, it's gonna print it. That's the beauty of 3D printing, to be quite honest with you.
Right. But that works for solid blocks of materials. With this, you're basically doing, I mean, from what you're describing to me, it's basically what you would see in science fiction movies. As it's moving, it's filling in spaces in different directions simultaneously.
It'll literally, if the design is calling for at a certain point that it literally prints a minute part and then skips over to this part and then prints this line here.
Let's start a business. All right, Mike.
Who's actually really, somebody that's in the manosphere that is actually. Well, no, I was just gonna say like somebody who's actually very knowledgeable. This, hold on. Somebody who's really knowledgeable of 3D printing, and has actually built his own 3D printing rigs is Lowcast.
Right. I understand 3D printing. I have no issue with that. My thing is for making complex shapes from carbon fiber, because it's literally weave. It's an actual, it's fabric. It's a filament. So as it's
long strands.
So right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute.
So what you're telling me is that this thing now has to lay strands in one direction, two directions, three directions, come back to the first direction, second direction, third direction, come back to the first, so on and so forth. Wow,
but wait a minute, Paul Bryant. Paul Bryant, if you're talking about long strands of weave, you're probably in the wrong section.
Don't you go there. Don't you go there.
It's always Triz. It's always Triz, man.
Wait, Ty, what were you saying,
Mr. Malaysian Yaki himself.
Wait, hold on. First of all, you're the last one to talk because Cyborg G lives in your city. The last time I checked.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Nah. She relocated to be with her boo.
Oh, did she? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, hey.
Yeah, who's gonna check you,
Ain't
boo?
now boo.
No, but maybe Complex is right on this right here.
Look.
yeah, but
There
that's
you
not carbon though.
No, but the process would be the same.
The process is the same. That's what I mean.
Is
It's not, yeah, because look, it's all in the you have to program the logic.
Okay.
Okay, you take the filament is made in such a way where the fibers all point in one direction.
Right.
Okay,
right.
so if you want to create the cross weave, you print it.
So the needle or the head or the whatever you want to call it, it's moving in the various directions.
Yeah, you program the attributes. Yes.
Now my question here is this: how much does that machine cost?
Mike's got it right here.
Really?
Yeah.
So
This,
telling me
look,
this
we're
is
looking
the
at
machine here that 3D prints carbon fiber material.
the 3D print. It's all a matter of the filament. It's literally it's filament and nozzle. That's it. The machine is the machine.
Yeah, designed, assembled in Brooklyn, New York. I mean, Paul.
Come on, Paul.
Do I need to say more?
Well, listen, I'm not from Brooklyn, but hey.
Well.
Oh wait. I'm sorry. Wait. Where are you from, Paul?
No,
Queens.
I grew up in Queens, my friend.
Queens. Okay. Yeah.
You know, I don't associate with the savages. That's why my house is in the neighborhood that it is.
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud because Jay Shine's in Germany too, so I don't want him to become bumping heads with you.
Hey, don't bring up Jay Shine. Don't say Jay Shine, fam.
Be like,
it is what it is. Every time I have to go out to Brooklyn, I feel like I'm going out to the freaking zoo to visit the animals in their native habitat.
Well, so if you got 2 of these printers, you can definitely run some production. Because it says it has over 20,000 hours of testing across thousands of prints. I mean, at some point, this has to be there's going to be a return on investment. I mean, a carbon fiber wheel is what, $8,000, $9,000 for a wheel. So
that's insane.
Well,
but it's carbon fiber.
Yeah.
If you want to reduce the cost.
Yeah, but the thing is, well, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't run it on the street, but my thing about Ford is that why did you spend so much on a wheel but not the interior? Like, who made that decision?
Yeah,
it's probably a third party. I don't think they probably didn't even make the wheel.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Ty City, someone made that choice, which is what Mike is saying. Whether they farmed the workout or did it in-house, that's a lot of money. That's someone that is exchanging hands when that money could have stayed in-house and spent on a better interior.
Now, you see this picture right here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You print the rigidity, you print the characteristics into it. You design it in CAD and you print it, and you get this right here.
Yeah, but I don't want my wheels to do that.
Well, no. What I'm saying, this is just a demonstration of you print. Right. You print the physical characteristics of it. You're gonna factor in one, the architectural design, and two, the material.
But then also, since you're talking about 3D printing carbon fiber, carbon fiber still has to be baked in an autoclave, and those are big and they're expensive.
That's for the resin.
That's
to seat the resin.
But look, even then, you don't have to even do that anymore. Because now what you would
bake it in an autoclave?
No. There's a guy that I follow. He's building. He hand built a. I'm trying to remember what motor he's using, but it's a Mercedes. He took it out of his. I'm trying to remember what his CL. He took it out. I'm trying whatever car he took it out of.
Right.
But basically, he did all the carbon fiber floor pans and all of the carbon fiber components. He did it all himself. All he did was he sandwiched 2 layers of carbon fiber like sheet. He sandwiched so there's a layer on top, layer on the bottom, and flexible foam in the middle. And all he did was he vacuumed it. You stick it in a vacuum bag, and what you're doing is you're applying vacuum pressure
Yeah, but
see
that can't have the same strength, though. I refuse to believe that.
it does, bro. I'm telling you, there's all these different techniques that have come about using carbon
Okay,
fiber.
all right,
Yeah.
okay. I will stand corrected.
No, but what you're saying is that's one method is that. But now what people have come up with all these different ways to manufacture with carbon fiber. That's why I'm like, with a wheel, print it. Just print it.
Yeah, but carbon fiber strength comes from the weave, and so it gives the finished material a certain degree of flexibility, otherwise known as torsional rigidity. The strength comes from twisting. For those who don't know what I just said, the compressive ability is still rather low because it's relatively brittle.
Right.
So
I always thought that
compressive also relates to impact. So if you hit a curb or if you hit a
you're
pothole,
done. You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
So
I won't walk that one back. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, that's why I am still hesitant about.
But you know, Paul, it's like anything though, dude. You know, it's like, dude, even with race cars, bro. Like they go, you know, Mike, I put the link in there too for those LMP3, the 2020 cars.
Okay.
Because all of those cars, basically, they don't have a livery on them. All the bodies are full of carbon fiber. Now we look at them, we understand the rigidity and the strength in it, right? But Paul, what happens when these cars touch?
They're done. They explode into 1,000 pieces.
So I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
I don't see anything in there, Complex.
You didn't see anything? Oh, let me see here. It's in. I posted the link in the. It's in the Zoom chat.
No, it's not.
You don't see it there?
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll post it again.
Yeah, because that is still the biggest downside with carbon fiber. It has high torsional rigidity, but it's very weak in compression. Very weak in compression. You can't take impacts and direct blows. You crack it, done.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
And it's not metal. It won't bend. It will slightly flex, but it won't bend. So.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why that dude, what he did was he sandwiched two layers, right, between some foam. So you do get some. You're gonna get some. If you're going full carbon fiber, you're absolutely right. You get none.
Oh, so maybe stupid. Yeah, maybe Complex has a point here. It says stunning Purple 4 GT has 3D printed carbon fiber wheels. So
yeah,
I remember seeing these.
I stand corrected.
I'm trying to make them for carts, bro. I want to go full carbon fiber on my karting shit.
Cool, HRE.
Yeah, those are HRE too. I bet you them shits are probably like about $6,000 a piece.
Oh, you know what it is, Ulysses? You put it here in the Zoom chat. You didn't put it in the YouTube chat.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was me.
Boy, I'm telling you, man, that's sick.
LMP3 cars break cover at Le Mans. Yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah, Ty C is a big fan of concave wheels. So
yo, that was BBS actually put their wheels out that they have like this.
Yeah,
they got.
They did put them out already.
That they put out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, BBS.
Because the original, BBS, what is it? The BBS RC 10s that was on the old M3s back in the day.
Yeah, they had the 2-piece that came out. They were the BBS RS. That's what it was.
Ty City. I thought you were still running around on the Antera Opus 1.
On the what?
The Antera Opus 1.
Antera's goddamn.
The Antera Opus 1. The Chrome TriStar.
The old school TriStars, dude.
Oh, you talking about the OG Primes?
The old what? It was
Prime.
called the Antera Opus 1.
Yeah, this is what Ty City is referring to, that sort of look.
This one. Okay, yeah. Those look like the old TSW Hockenheims.
Yeah, but the RS is what the old the BBS RS is what the old M3s and all those cars came with.
Well, these
Yeah,
came
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
These came on something because that's where I first originally saw it.
These were, oh man, what did they run the Hockenheims on, man? Oh shit. BMWs, was it? No.
Volkswagens?
What did they
Well,
run?
Volkswagens had BBS RSs as well. Well, I don't think they call them RSs.
Yeah, back in the mid late 90s, man, the Hockenheims were like,
Yeah.
those were the wheels to put if you had like a European car.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, BMW, the Hockenheims, man. Yeah.
Let me see that. Let me get that link for the chat.
Okay.
It's right here.
Sir, the Antera Opus 1 chromed out.
Oh, those are stereo shop wheels now.
Oh my god. Shit.
Like Dubs.
The original TriStar, baby. Everybody had those. Well, no, not true. Some.
Nah, that was a big deal out here in Cali, man.
They were huge in New York City, boy.
Yeah.
What if you had the chrome Anteras? You were shut it down.
No, that was the same out here. It was the same out here, bro. Same out here. That's why as soon as you said the Anteras, and like what you used to actually see those on out here were on Jettas.
Yeah.
On Jetta?
Like Jettas used to rock them on Jettas out here, and you remember that company New Speed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be all New Speed shit with Antera wheels, dude.
Oh. Blasphemy.
Yeah, with the double round with the double round headlights on them.
Yep. Mike knows his stuff.
What's the curb rate on that LMP car? Because that car looks sick.
That's why I was saying, man. Look, the new 2020 LMP3 cars are out, man. Holy shit.
I'm gonna say if it's a hybrid, I'm gonna say under 2,000.
No, you know what, Paul? Well, here's what they're running. So they run. So I'm gonna read the 2020 spec technical specs on these. So over.
Want to share your screen or no?
No. I'll just read it. But I want you just to look at the cars here. I'll just read it right here though. So they're running now. The engine and drivetrain packages are now upgraded to 455 horsepower. So it's a 35 horsepower upgrade. They're running the VK56, the Nissan motor, and they're all supplied by Orica. So they run a spec engine. And
okay. Explain the VK. Is that a 3 liter or 3.5?
It's a V8, and I want to. I don't know what the literage is on it.
If it's a 56, it should be a 5.6.
Yeah, so I think it's a 5.6.
Oh, so it's a
5.5. It's a 5.5,
okay.
And it's the VK. It's the VK56, but it's a 5.5, and it's a V8, and they're all Orica motors.
Oh, I mean, but they automatically have to have a 5.5 liter max. So
it's a spec motor. All these chassis they're running the same drivetrain.
Okay. And so this is a naturally aspirated though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a hybrid.
No.
That changes things. So
yeah.
I'm going to say
it's to make LMP3 cheaper.
I'm still going to assume the weight is anywhere between 15 to 2.
Let's see. I don't know if it gives us let me see if it gives us the weight specs, but mean,
these
dude,
cars can be a little heavy though.
That's the thing. It's to make it lighter, actually. They're trying to cheapen it. They're trying to cheapen it, and then lighten the car so that you're still getting the same like performance attributes, but you're taking away all of like the hybridization and the like the exotic, engine packages and all that. So what you do is you make it a spec motor, spec tranny, and then you tell the chassis constructors, okay, look, what you want to do is leverage this powertrain package because it is what it is, right? You're gonna get the shit from Orica. It's gonna be that. You basically get hands off on that. So
but that's funny because this kind of reminds me of a Formula One car because the only thing metal on a Formula One car are the springs, the dampers, the engine, and the transmission.
Yep.
And
everything else is carbon.
and the radiators. Everything else is carbon fiber.
Yep,
There's
everything's
no
carbon.
metal.
But the only difference is that when you look at the LMP car, it's less complex by design.
I see what you did there, Triz. I see what you did there.
Hi-yo.
Hey, when one of these costs to get going, like a turnkey setup?
Hold on. Let me get it over here. So let's see here. It says that. So okay. Total means costs. So this car is going to be basically it's about 55,000 euro over the current car. So we're looking at about 239,000 euro.
239 euros.
Whoa, it's running
239,000 euros.
50.
Yeah, it's an Orica. It's Orica supplies all the motors. Right now.
Go, scroll down.
No, that's Mike there. I'm reading from a different page that gives all the technical specs, but I wanted y'all to just look at the pictures of the cars because god damn, they're gorgeous.
How much will this car weigh?
Let's see.
It's running a Titan motor.
That's basically a Titan. Titan. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
The VK56. Wow.
Let's see here. What's the weight on these?
The Infinity uses that motor too. The Infinity Q.
It's not giving me what the weight.
The M56 run that motor too.
Yeah, it's not giving me the weight. It's not giving me the weight on these, but you're absolutely right, Ty. That's the motor. And the four manufacturers is Ades, Duquesne Engineering, Janetta, and Ligier. And Ligier's got Formula One heritage.
Right.
Janetta, they've been producing these for shit.
That looks like a Janetta right there.
That's the first one is a Janetta. They have all four. If you scroll down, there's pictures of all four cars, and they're just all of them, every last one of them. These are the prettiest LMP3 cars I've seen in quite a long time, man.
Well, you didn't like the Porsche 919 RSR?
No, I like the Porsche. I mean, it's just that some of them kind of, I just like the new spec on these, man. Just
like
the hood scoop.
Look at the and the Peugeot are ugly.
Those
that's what I mean.
Setup is crazy.
Wait, say that again, Ty?
Setup is crazy.
Right. Yeah. Look at that. That's all carbon, bro. All of that.
Car has got away nothing.
That's what I mean, dude. I mean, I'm wondering if they didn't release like weight numbers for a reason, but
you know what though? I bet if you race that car, like especially that one in the summertime, oh man, you're dying in there with your race outfit on with the
no. They have it. There's a cooling suit.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, under your suit. So there's a shirt that you put on, right? That has it has water jackets that go through, and that's plugged into the water pump on the car, and then there's a separate tank. Okay, and then that hood scoop. Now there's two ducts that run off of that hood scoop. There's two ducts that run off of that hood scoop. One of the ducts runs into your helmet. So the guys that run these cars, you'll notice they have a helmet that has this thing on the top of it, and then there's a hose that connects to it. And so the air from the hood scoop flies in and then blows air right into the helmet, and then there's the cooling suit that you're wearing under your race suit. So no, it keeps you cool.
Wow.
That's why these dudes can run endurance races, dude, and they don't pass out on the car.
Have they released any news for the 2020 WEC, the new hypercars yet?
Yeah. Remember? Let me find those. Yeah, because
They
they did.
released
That was
news,
like
but
2
they
months
haven't
ago, I
shown
think.
anything built yet.
No. There's nothing built yet.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
mean they put the regulations out there.
Right.
And there's been some experimental designs based on it. It's no different than the 2021 Formula One regulations. Have you seen those, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not a fan, bro. Not a
No?
Well,
fan.
what's the
Because
cutback?
you know what? I'm like, yo, can we have the V10s back in
Okay.
Formula One?
Yes.
Which
I
is
feel
never
you
gonna
there.
happen, bro.
I feel you there, but the look of the cars look more like traditional Formula One cars. They don't look
I'll
like
give you.
this bastardization of, I don't know what the fuck these Formula cars. What are they?
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know what
right.
they're supposed to look like right now.
I don't know what they're supposed to look like, and you know what? The Mercedes, they have those crazy little wing leaf things on the front wings
Mm-hmm.
in front of the front wheels. They had a camera on Lewis Hamilton's car during today's race.
Mm-hmm.
At speed, those things they compress under the force of the air, which is cool. So I get it, aero and everything else, but
Yeah.
they are ugly. They're
It's that
horrible.
ugly, dude. Oh my god.
Like even the cars, even the Formula One cars from 10 years ago, they were beautiful. They still had the V10. Well, actually, 10 years ago, I think they were phasing out to the V8s.
That's when they just started. Yeah, you're right. They just started phasing them out.
But the V10s and the old V12s and the turbo era, that's when Formula One cars, the motors sang and they were beautiful. They were sexy. Now it's like,
It's like no, there's no signature engine note. There's no signature engine note plus the ugly ass car.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Right.
Horrible.
Right. The sound is what attracted me to begin with. Flipping through the channels, and I just heard that sound, and it caught me. And I've been hooked ever since. Yep.
No, I agree.
That's
that's what I like about the new 2021 regulation cars, though, man. They go back to the look of a traditional Formula One car. Now, drivetrain wise, I mean, I just think they're never going to go back to the V10s, man. I really wish they did. Yep.
Never gonna happen. Look at what the Porsche, the 919 RSR. Look at the Audi R8, the R18. No, the R18. Look at the what is it? The Peugeot. Look at the Volkswagen IDIC. Full electric vehicles, which are destroying the Nürburgring lap records. Full electric. That's what it is, bro. The internal combustion engine is on the way out the door, and guys don't even realize it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm too thrilled about that.
Well, I mean, but we got to think about areas where the infrastructure isn't quite there yet. So there's, like, if you need to traverse the area, some territory where there's not going to be electric charging station, that's where that gas engine or combustion engine, whether it be gas or diesel, will come in handy. Because I mean, we're thinking about the developed world, but a lot of the undeveloped world, they're still going to need combustion engine vehicles.
They've already made their commitments. They already made their commitments to the Paris climate change agreement.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they're getting out of that by 2045.
They're getting out of it, man.
Right.
Like, yeah,
And
Europe is about
at a state level, and I'll tell you right now, when you're talking state levels, governments start pushing things, and infrastructure is changing. I can tell you, in Germany and in Holland, in fact, all of over Scandinavia, that's what they're doing, and it's coming to the States. Porsche has they've said they're committing resources to out of pocket building charging stations for the Taycan. So the Americans are going to come around. In Europe, it's being pushed from the state level, but the American car companies, they're basically resting their laurels on the fact that it's not being pushed at the state level in the States, but the industry wide, it's being pushed. So it's coming around.
Well, Paul, the United States is now the #1 oil producer, right? So they don't really have much of an incentive to do it until market forces force them. You know how America gets down in terms of industry.
Trust me.
Yeah,
I
but
You know what I mean?
have
job
built several
wise, wouldn't this
oil
just
plants.
destroy? I mean,
You say
multiple markets. I mean,
Yeah,
the switch
yeah.
to electric vehicles. I mean, you
Yes.
think oil,
Yep.
The same
mechanics.
thing was said.
Yep.
But the same thing was said when the zipper replaced the button. Now you may tell me that that's apples and oranges, but it's really the same thing. They don't care. Technology waits on no one.
Right.
So the biggest thing here is basically the monetization and how can the money be made quickly, easily, and readily as it is with fossil fuel powertrains. But they're not waiting on that. They're pushing the tech forward now.
Yeah, I would like to say, I remember I was in Brazil, but this was back in 2000. They said by 2005, they said they would be off of all foreign oil and everything else like that. And I started seeing a lot of just, natural gas filling stations and everything else like that. And they had all these cars. Like, here's a country supposed to has a heavy third world element, had all of these, alternative energy vehicles and alternative energy, stations that you can go to. And now there's a lot of electric stuff that's coming up over there. So the third world, so these countries that you're saying that are going to need the gas engines, they're going to switch over and go to electric even sooner, because as they start to build even more infrastructure for more cars and stuff like that, that's going to be around. It's going to be a lot easier to put electrical stuff in there as opposed to just throwing a combustion gas gas engine a type in there. It's going to be a lot easier for them to do that. You're going to see Africa and India and a lot of these other countries. I mean, other nations or continents. Africa's not a country, of course. Africa's got 55 nations, but many of those nations on the continent that are emerging are going to be going immediately with the latest. With the latest and the greatest.
We covered that article. Yeah, we covered that article about Rwanda last month, that they basically swapping out all their gas-based motorcycles for electric bikes.
That's right.
There you go. And bro,
they're doing that. So whoever said that the the gas engine is going by way of the dodo bird, and we'll see that in the Smithsonian in 50 years, I think they're dead on it. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Bro, I am seeing that firsthand in Scandinavia, and it is being pushed in Germany and the Netherlands at a state level. Full electric.
I saw that back in Sweden. I saw it in Sweden back in. I saw that we were starting that back in Sweden back in the late 90s, dude. They were looking at this stuff back in the late 90s, family. I mean, this is a whole different. I mean, Europe and these other countries are on top of this stuff.
They're ahead of us.
It's us who are holding back. It's the United States.
100%. On that note, we have the consigliere in the building, Brother Magone.
Oh shit!
Oh, the Minister of Defense. Oh shit! and then we have our Mario Andretti or excuse me, our Sting. Our Sting of the Black
Sting.
The Black Sting.
The Black Sting.
We got the freaking Sting fucking complex, baby.
What were you gonna say,
but he
Triz?
is the Sting's black cousin.
What are you gonna say, Triz?
Triz,
what were you gonna say? Or was it Tie City?
I think it was
No, it wasn't me.
Oh,
But
okay.
I do want to see what's gonna happen when this taking hit the streets, man.
They already sold out according to Porsche. So sold
I can't wait
30,000.
for it to hit the streets, man.
They sold 30,000 already?
God
Yeah,
damn,
they already
man.
ordered them. Ordered
Wow.
30,000.
High
It's a wrap.
demand. It's the
Wow.
future, bro. It is the future.
Wow.
The German government at a state level, the Bundestag has been pushing this full electrification of the German automotive market. All across Europe, it is being pushed at a state level. So
Damn.
the manufacturers are on board. The customers don't see it yet, but within the industry has already moved to full electrification of vehicles.
Hey Mike, I posted the link of the I'll find another one because it doesn't really give a good visual of all of the cars, but I did post a link for the Super GT, the 2020s, because it has the NSX, man. Oh, that thing is sexy.
Hey, Mike, is there any price on the Continental, the contacts?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can show a visual for the Continental tires, that's the brand that Tire City likes to buy. Continental tires.
Continentals are really good, man.
Continentals are good. The Continental, the Pirelli Challenge, or no, Continental. Paul, what's the Continental actually sponsors the which race series? The U.S. based. I want to say the TCR series is actually sponsored by Continental.
Wait, what is Super Triz asking? I didn't get a chance to hear that.
Yeah, because we got to post the videos, post the tires that Tire City likes to buy. He likes to buy General Automax.
Wow! Damn!
Wow!
Relentless, dude. Relentless.
Oh,
Jesus.
Cold. These dudes are cold up here.
God damn, dude.
Oh no!
Hey, you know what, Triz? Fucking man, the gloves off. Hey, the gloves off, Triz. Hey, what you got against a select brother like myself?
Damn.
Hey, what you got against a select brother like myself, huh?
And it's because you don't have select tires, man. Your tires ain't select.
Oh,
Look,
shit.
Triz, all you got to do is self-improve. You ain't got to hate, man.
Damn.
You said sport contacts, Paul?
Sure. So that's what's on the S4, but
I would prefer the the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s on them.
They're a bit pricey, to be honest.
Bridgestone Potenza.
How much are they per tire?
Oh, let me pull them up.
They're like $350 a piece.
That's not
I
so.
think more than that.
That's not so bad.
Well,
For what tires?
The Sport Cup 2s.
Oh man, those are like almost like 400.
I'm about to say, I think they're more than that.
Oh, okay. Actually, I don't have them.
How many miles can you get to them?
Oh, probably about 2,000.
180.
There you go. 340.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay, but
have any of y'all ever ran R888s?
You got to think about the actual size because nobody's running. I mean, 255 is front tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about maybe like a 295, 305.
305s.
Well, this is for an Audi S4 though.
No, it's
not.
I am not putting this on the S4. That is not happening, bro.
Why not?
Continental. I don't, bro. 340 per tire for me. It's just I don't take the car to the track. It's not a track vehicle, so I wouldn't.
You pray at the altar.
Which is why it has Continentals and not Michelin.
Okay.
Michelin's tend to go away kind of fast as well. Well,
so Paul Bryan wants to put Kumo tires.
No, bro.
Damn, Kumo.
Maybe you haven't heard what I said. Car has Continentals. It only gets Continentals.
So you said sport contacts. Sport contacts.
Hey, Mike, the last link I just posted there, so that's the Google search for the 2020 Super GT cars.
Hey, Mike, can I put those Continentals on a Broham or either on a or on the Bretton Woods? Can I put it on the Bretton Woods?
Maybe a 4-door Beetle. But either way, Paul, man, you want Cup Series tires, man. You want to feel like you're gonna die. That's how I live my life.
Nah, I hear
Oh, no, because that's what the track car is for. Okay, that's what the track car is for. The S4 is for driving around and enjoying myself. And the Sport Cup 2, you get no tire life out of those tires.
I agree with that.
Never drive hard enough to extract the performance that a Sport Cup 2 can give you. That's what the track car.
All you're gonna do is you're just gonna get fast degradation on tires just by doing daily driving.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I get it. It's kind
Yeah,
of like
but
okay,
from
yeah,
stoplight to
no,
stoplight, Paul, man. Stoplight to
I
stoplight.
understand. He's that's what.
Bro.
No, but I had a
maybe
R
when I
triple
was
H
maybe
on
when
my
I was
RX-7.
25, not at 47. I have outgrown that.
Yeah.
You're not really
No, I agree.
47. You're more like an older millennial.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
What are you,
That's a
what
good
you
way to
saying,
put it,
Ty
though.
City? Ty City?
You
No,
said
I was
yes.
saying I put some R triple H on my RX-7 when I had it, and it turned into a whole nother car.
Yeah, it does.
And those tires, they didn't last that long, but damn, that was fun.
Yeah, but I think these
Well,
are
that's
these are
Paul's
Triz,
point.
right?
They don't last long.
Yeah, but this feels good though when you do drive it on the highway, man. You just rip that sucker up, man. Especially the on ramps and the off ramps, man.
Yeah.
Are the practices any good?
Literally
Those-
the on ramps and the off
I can
ramps.
speak to that. I was running through tires like crazy, and I almost not good. Yeah, you spend
Hey,
a lot. I
see
mean,
if they
tires
got the
are a
R-
big
the
expense on these
R8.
cars.
What you saying,
Tires are-
Ty City?
See if they got the R triple H.
They don't. Oh well, not in this vehicle, not for this vehicle spec. Yeah, but they got Sumitomos, and those are like Triz's favorite tire, right?
Oh, damn.
Or Mike, look up your favorite Cooper tires.
First, Cooper Towns? The Cooper Towns?
Cooper.
I like
Cooper.
Generals, man. I like Generals, man, because I'm a General cat, man. So.
I run Coopers on my SUV.
General Mike.
How do those work out for you, Scott?
I guess. they're
Yeah.
okay.
You see that big pause?
Yeah. Did you hear that? Did you hear that sigh at the end?
Yeah, I guess they're okay.
Yeah, look, I had Cooper tires when I had an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme because they was the cheapest tires I could afford.
Oldsmobile Cutlass. I actually like those cars. Those old cars, those shits were fucking live. I thought they had nice lines.
Wasn't they the same thing as
for an old boat? There you go ahead.
What am I looking for? Oh,
No. That one doesn't really show. Those are the three cars that have been homologated for Super GT, Japanese Super GT.
okay.
Okay. Now we get the front profiles, and they're very interesting when you look at how the wide the Super is. The NSX in the middle, that's the one I'm really kind of just I'm high on.
Mike, blow it up a little bit more.
The BMW Supra.
Yeah,
That's a
I mean,
Honda
if you
in the middle.
want to call it that.
Well,
Yeah,
middle
but
is the Honda.
that's the NSX in the middle. That's the
Yeah.
NSX.
Is Nissan running a V8 in this series?
No, they're running the whatchamacallit in the whatchamacallit of the GTR.
Yeah, they was running the in the GT500 class. They was running a V8.
No, this one they're running. I think the regular whatchamacallit is homologated for Class 1 Super GT.
V6.
Yeah, they run the same production motor. They have to just run. They obviously run a hotter version of it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This is it's a race. It's racing.
Yeah, but I'm high on the NSX. With the three cars that I've seen for the 2020 series, that NSX, man, there's also some video on YouTube of it. All three of them getting some track time in. That NSX, man. Oh man,
I'd love to run a couple of hot laps with that bad boy. I ain't gonna front.
Shit, you and me both, bro.
Brother Nagone.
Go ahead.
Did you watch Lewis Hamilton win his sixth world
Say
title today? Yes, sir.
Say what?
I watched it live on Sky Sports Network.
There we go.
Lewis
Say what?
Hamilton won his
Yo,
Formula One driver's title, and he came in second place with a Mercedes 1-2. Bottas came in first place. Hamilton came in second place. So not only has Mercedes
got all the points he needed,
secured the constructor title,
yeah,
he
he
also
clinched.
secured another 1-2 in the driver's title. Hamilton won his sixth championship. Bottas will finish in second.
But hold on, somebody predicted that, didn't they? On the Brain Trust, who was that?
That might have been yours truly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was Paul. That was Paul.
Was it? Was it the minister? Was it the minister? Yeah, this was predicted. I kind of knew it. I thought he was going to have to crash out, or maybe some tremendous equipment failure on his car for him not to finish.
Mike.
But which could happen, but that didn't happen. So I figured, if he was going to finish, he was going to do well. But you predicted it. I good prediction. I'm not gonna say it was a very difficult one, but you did predict.
It really wasn't.
No. He was quick. He was quick at Coda. He was quick all weekend, man.
And he was quick all weekend because in the end, I think the last few laps he was turning some of the fastest left on the track.
Yeah. I mean, dude, look. All he had to do was play second to clinch, man. Look,
that's all he did.
Valtteri's trying to save his seat.
That's right.
Okay, he could have if he was really about it like that. You don't think he would have passed Valtteri?
Hold it 1 second, but hold it. Who came in first and second?
Bottas. He finished first. Hamilton finished second to clinch. But look, it's like this, man. If I only need a second, man, I'm gonna try to help my teammate out, man.
Hey, that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's already got it lined up.
He's already got it, dude.
He's already got it lined up. Give his boy to Vic. He's straight. He's taking it all one more game.
Bottas is quick.
I just want to know.
All the haters said that this was Verstappen's year. Hamilton is finished. Verstappen is.
It ain't gonna be Verstappen's year until Hamilton's out of that motherfucker.
Not happening.
I said Verstappen he's talented, but he's overly aggressive. He makes dangerous maneuvers, and he takes himself out, as he consistently does. And when it's all said and done, he will be another Juan Pablo Montoya.
That's right.
Damn.
And Verstappen, he'll be verklempt before it's all over.
The core is better anyway.
But at the end of the day, you got to be a nice man to take this shit out. When you take a look at most of the top, super champions of Formula One, they've all been guys that can drive you from the rear. They can drive you from the rear. That's what he does. He drives you. He sits behind you and drives your ass. Makes you make the fucking mistakes.
Hey,
all right. And
hey,
then
Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The minute you make a mistake, he's by. So that's what he does. The Iceman. So like I said, if he wins 9 titles, I still think, and I'll say this very quickly, I'm out. If he gets 7 titles, and they'll say, okay, he's a great driver. They'll know he's a great driver, but they still will not say that he's equal to
Michael
Schumacher.
To Schumacher. I figure he's got to do 9. 9.
You already know, man. We gotta do extra. You already know.
He's got to do 9 for him to be the unmitigated Superman.
We got to do extra. You already know it.
Yo, bro, he has broken almost every one of Schumacher's records.
We know this. And he's still young, and he did it. He's younger.
He was going to be broken.
We know
that he was so far beyond Senna and Fangio and
those guys were
Mansell.
And Nigel Mansell.
That's my guy. He was my guy right there.
And Hill.
He's my favorite. That was my favorite guy. Because people started talking shit about him. Formula One can't do anything in Indy. Mansell was like, hold on a second. Let me jump off the circuit. Let me go over here and fucking wax all your. Let me wash all your asses over here. And I'll
look for all that you were saying, Paul, with Senna being that guy who would get you know who used to rattle his fucking bones every time he was behind him. Mansell.
Don't say it.
Mansell.
Nigel Mansell.
He used to get under Senna's skin, bro.
He did.
Yeah. And Mansell was a genius. I mean, plus he was a great wrench too, wasn't he?
He was a blue collar. He was a great wrench. That's the thing. He wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This
guy did it all. This guy did it all,
dude.
Genius.
Yeah, bro. People don't know. You know, Ayrton Senna came for money back in Brazil.
Yeah. We know this. I mean, yeah.
Oh, hey, Mike, Mike, what did you think about that NSX, bro? Because I know you and I were kind of. I like the NSX. I always thought it was overpriced. That's just my thing about the NSX. It's overpriced. I already know they produce a good car, but when you see it what did you think about what you were looking at there with the Super GT variant?
I think that the GT variant is like a mock-up of what the Type R is supposed to look like. When the Type R is supposed to drop, nobody really knows. But
This NXX looks crazy.
that's not an NSX.
This one right.
Honda.
Yeah,
this is Honda. But the NSX, man, it's actually priced pretty well. There's no other car within its price bracket that actually does what it does.
What did you think about the Super GT?
What's the top sticker right now?
But hold on, Mike. Is this a Zonda or a Haraya?
Wyra.
Well, I wasn't sure. I just pulled the picture up. It's a Wyra right here, according to the web URL. But we're talking about the NSX because Complex has a bit of a complex about the NSX's price.
I don't have a complex about the Super GT version, bro. Not the Super GT version we were just looking at. Yeah. I think out of the three cars we're looking at, the Supra, the NSX, and the GTR, I think the NSX is superior, and I can say that also just based off of some of the track video I've seen of all three cars.
Because it's hybrid.
I mean,
well, are you just talking about the aesthetics? The aesthetics? Yeah.
No. I was thinking. See, my whole issue just with the NSX was just the price point for it. But in race trim, looking at the Super GT classes, I think it's a superior car to the other two.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that in the 150, 180 bracket, there is no car available that has a hybrid setup. The Lamborghini doesn't have it. It's a V10. Audi R8 V10, Porsche turbo 6-cylinder. That's it. With some turbos. McLaren V8 flat plane crank V8. Okay, so what else are you gonna get?
But
the closest thing to it would be a Porsche 918.
But this my gripe. You put
cost $1 million.
But
that's Mike's point. That's the point.
Nah, but this my gripe. Like you put the NSX in that caliber of car, but they put it to compete with the Supra and the GTR.
Well, I mean, okay. With regards
NSX doesn't have those performance numbers though. You can't even compare that to a Porsche 918. It's night and day.
No, but the technology is the same.
That's what Mike's saying. So when you look at it comparatively speaking, he's actually saying that. And I think what I have to do is I have to get it out of because I'm looking at a Honda badge on the goddamn car, right? So I'm associating it with a Honda, and I'm like, dude, $150K for a Honda. But when you look at the tech that's put into the car versus like what's comparable to it, okay, then you got a point, right? Now you're looking at what's comparable, and that shit's way more expensive than NSX.
Yeah, but you would never say the NSX is in competition with the GTR.
Shit, look at the Super GT cars.
Huh? You would never say that NSX is in competition with the GT.
You know it is.
How do you figure that?
No, I think that I would rather have the GTR, to be honest.
I can appreciate that, but understand something.
Okay.
You may not feel
Paul Bryan, do you have any more ambient left?
Oh shit!
Oh shit! What I'm saying is, y'all try to separate the NSX, but it competes with what it competes with. They're not putting it in the same class as what y'all saying is supposed to compete with.
Wait, Mike, you have another picture of an NSX?
Wait.
Money aside, everything else aside.
You're talking street versus racing. The
which
GTR
dude totally
race.
Wait. No, well, hold on, Ty. What are you? Wait, you're speaking specific about street trim.
I'll speak to street trim.
Okay. This is for clarification. Okay.
No. Even in race trim.
Okay. Now, if you talking race trim, Mike, bring those pictures back up. Bring the Super GT pictures back up.
Why is it competing with the Supra and the GTR if it's supposed to be on caliber with the Porsche?
It's the halo cars of the brand.
Well, not only that, but so you got to understand.
Race trim. It's two completely different.
Look, the thing is, Porsche does not build a Class 1 production race car. That's the only reason why you when you say that, it's kind of like, okay, we can't really make a car-to-car comparison because Porsche is not building a Class 1 production race car. They simply aren't. Now, whoever is in DTM, see, because a few years back, what they did was all the automotive manufacturers got together and they agreed on a set standard of regulations, right? To where Super GT, German Touring Car Masters, aka DTM, okay, they're all going to be classified under a Class 1 specification. It's no different than hold on. It's no different than when you're looking at TCR cars, for example. Okay, because look, you have say wait, hold on. You have, for example, hold on. Let me explain it.
Going to be in the same class as CAR?
No, bro. That's something totally different.
This is what I mean, dude. This is what I mean. Because look. Because under TCR regulations, for example, right? You take the Audi, you take the Audi LM R. What is it? I'm trying to remember the designation of it. Okay, it is a WTCR touring car, but so is a fucking Volkswagen Golf. Okay,
you mean the Audi R8 LM?
LM. Okay, so the thing is this. Yeah, you're looking at from a production and street variance. Yeah, it's kind of apples and oranges, but in a race application, dude, they're in the same class on the same track. And it's no different than these cars that you're looking at right here.
What you're looking at here, this is not the car that you can buy at a dealership.
No, but this is a precursor to the Type R. It will look something.
It will, yes.
Dramatic.
I agree.
Because they have to reduce the weight on it. That's the main thing, right? It weighs 3750.
And that's why looking at this, I'm high on the NSX now.
Yeah, well, the NSX is actually a really good car, man.
I mean, that's what I mean. I'm not this. That's what I mean. You know, we kind of went back and forth about it, but now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I driven it last year, man. It's a better car than, let's say, the C7 Vet, but it did cost more though, right? But
yeah,
and it's actually leaps and bounds better than the 991. In my opinion, the 991.1. It's actually much better than that.
Fellas, I think I might seriously look at this C8 in April, man. I'm said I wouldn't mess with it.
For real?
Oh, so
are you for real?
I am serious as pancreatic cancer, fan.
They said it was set up for taller people too. And
hey, Nagon.
Headroom with a helmet on.
Hey, Nagon.
Go ahead.
Nagon, when you go to the dealership, take Paul Bryan with you.
I might. You know something. That might be a good idea. I'll be here in New York. I might. Paul in New York. I might call him up there. Trying to see if we close this.
Hey, but all I'm saying is that y'all keep trying to put the NSX in a class where it just does not belong.
Which class is that?
With the Porsche,
I don't understand. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let him talk.
Yeah. Well, you said for it should be in the same class of Porsche 918.
No. The technology is similar, if not comparable, to the 918. So if you couldn't afford a 918, the closest thing you're going to get to it is an NSX.
Okay, so it's in the same realm as a GTR.
No, not even.
GTR is not, dude. It doesn't have any hybrid technology in it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I'm talking about performance.
Performance. You have to ignore the performance because you're buying the car for technology first, not the performance.
Okay, so where's the performance benchmark at?
In terms of what?
All around performance.
Wait.
On the NSX?
Street or racing? Street or racing?
Okay, pick either one. In the race trim or street trim?
Well, in terms of race trim, Matt Farah drove it, and I forget which part of that, and I think it's Santa Monica in LA, whatever that street track is, where they turn the street into an actual track. I forget the name of it, but he said
Long Beach.
Yeah, I think that was Long Beach. He waxed lyrical about it. He said that thing is bananas. He said he doesn't even understand why people aren't buying it. He says most slept-on car.
What would be the direct competitor
to the NSX would be something like a a Porsche 911.
GT3.
Yeah, close. Maybe a GT3, maybe a GTS, maybe a GTS probably.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe an R8 V10 is definitely a comparable vehicle to it.
I can see that.
Well, and I'm saying, like, I think really, and and I'll raise my hand. I'll be the first one to raise my hand to say this. I think, yeah, the NSX Major's been slept on.
Well, it came at the wrong time. McLaren showed up and stole the attention from the party.
I think people made it to be more than what it was, and they try to put it in a bracket that it didn't belong in.
Dude, what they did was they did the same thing I did. They looked at the price and said 150K for a Honda. Yeah, right. That's what it was, dude.
That is hard to stomach.
That's what happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though you stick an Acura badge on it, yeah, we all know it's still a Honda. Yeah.
Right. Just like a Lexus, it's still a Toyota. So
still a Toyota. That LFA sounds nice though.
Oh, it sounds sweet.
Oh my
Formula
goodness.
One
That's
motor.
V10.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's a Formula One. Well,
Hey,
principle.
Hey, Nagone. So I went to the dealership when I got off the phone with you and checked out went to go check out the C8, and they said that because of the strike, that there won't be any production won't start until January, and that the ones that have been built won't be shipped until January, and then you won't see another batch until like April.
Well, that's why I said around April.
Yeah,
I understand it. We got the Chevy dealer right down here, right down from my house. So I sat down and just kind of had a little call with one of the guys who I know, and we were just kind of rapping about it. And I said, I'd like to take a look at that C8. He said he had one on the lot for about 2 weeks, and or he had one. He said he had one, or he had a. They were delivered one on the lot to look at, and some guy came and paid for the motherfucker in cash and took it.
Yeah.
So cash
that
like that, huh?
Somebody said some dude. He told me, I don't want to say that's actually the guy, but it's because I don't want to get flagged. But the dude came down there, looked at the ride, said bang. He came back with an envelope big enough to choke a horse, and he said this was the deal. And what that was. And that was
how much?
How
much?
He didn't tell me exactly.
Mike, that's a lot of car if they go to 40, bro.
What would say that again?
But that's a lot of car if they hit 40, bro.
This is Z06 at 50.
But it's moving above sticker. So I think he plopped on close to 100. So it's moving above sticker. So then you're not buying that car at sticker price. So just understand that if you are going to get it, you're not getting it at sticker price right now.
Well, not
you're going to have a limited run.
Super Triz. Not according to Super Triz. According to him, you're buying it for sub $60,000.
Well,
you are not buying it.
Well, hold on.
You are not buying it at $60,000.
Hold on. Let me talk. Paul Bryan always hate me, man. Hold on. Now, wait a minute. Now listen. The demographic of the people that put down an allotment, put down a deposit for the initial allotment is different from the conventional Corvette buyer. So you have like people who are enthusiasts and they want to be the first ones with it. They're going to get the car with options, right? And so of course they're going to get the car that's going to be above sticker. But the people like the everybody else there's so many people that buy Corvettes that don't do anything to them. They get a bare bones, because even at the basic Stingray package, it's more car than most people can handle. And like I was saying to Mike earlier, most people are not going to take it on the track, so they don't even need the Z51 package. Now, I would get the Z51 package. Personally, I'm not even on the market for a Stingray. I want the Z06. But that's just me. But most people are just perfectly fine with the base.
My boy's got the Z06. My boy's got the Z06, the crazy car. The C8. This is one of the hottest. Hold on a second. This is one of the hottest releases in Corvette history right now. This is one of the hottest releases they've ever had. These guys are getting 20, 30, 40 grand above sticker. That's where you're at on this car right now.
For the C8.
Right here, right.
For the C8.
That's what I heard today. I heard the same thing today.
So you put in the car. These guys had a show car And he put on the floor to show a show car, and somebody came down and plopped down cash to take the ride. Took it off of him. Said, "It's gone. I'll be back. Let me go to my bank. I'll be back." And that was it. So that's what's going down right now, right here, right now. So I'm just saying that's what you're dealing with this car, and it's going to be hot for quite a while. So, and if this thing has any performance, like
would you say it's a good time to be a GM salesman right about now?
Right now, GM boys are getting paid on this car.
Damn,
they got
20 to 40 over sticker.
Right now,
they're paying for bid numbers.
They got a Corvette specialist at every dealership.
Now.
All the sales go through the Corvette specialist.
Yep.
Oh, word?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the salesman, if you're interested in a Corvette, they direct you to the Corvette man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there was a guy who I follow. He has a C7 Z06, and apparently there are certain dealers around the country who are considered high volume vet dealers, so they get priority from the factory over dealer allotments. So if you are a regular GM dealer and you're not a volume dealer for any vet, you are on a dealer waiting list. So you can order it. A customer will come in and they want a vet. You're on a waiting list. So there are certain dealers. My point here is the factory in Kentucky, the dealers are dealing directly with them, placing orders. So what Nagone said, man, like what Ty City just said, man, there are certain dealers, they get priority from the factory for moving vets.
They are. But you got so many vet enthusiasts out here, and they're salivating to have the first one on on their block. This thing is going to trade at a premium right now. It's it's moving at a premium. And it's going to be this way for a little bit. So April, well into the summer, this thing is going to be running hot. I mean, they had the same thing with the Dodge Demon. They were saying the Dodge Demon. I mean, you had it with that car. So what the hell you think is going to happen with the C8? I knew this was going to be the case.
Yeah, no. They said Nagone that this is going to be this is already marked down 15,000 off of price. This is ZR1 because they're not moving any of them. There's a dozen on the lot today.
Yeah, he said the C7s. Well, the C7s are, they're just gonna start piling up.
They're done, bro. They're done. The C8's coming. This shit is done. These ZR1s, they're gonna be wholesaling these bitches out after a while.
That's crazy because I like these almost as
much. I mean,
it's
a good car, dude. But goddamn, dude, a mid-engine Corvette.
Yeah, I know. But
It's eating everybody's lunch, fam. It's eating everybody's lunch. Forget about it. This is a whole new release of car. This is one of the hottest releases they've ever had in a vet. It's the hottest of the hottest releases. I'm telling you.
This ZR1.
Let's stick on this.
This ZR1 might wax it though.
Yeah, the ZR1 is already 100K out the door for a C7. If they're knocking 15 grand off of the price already, man, they may knock another 15 off.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Mike. I'm like, shit, dude.
Because he said that they have to move the inventory. There's not enough space for the C7s and the C8s. It's just not enough. So
I was gonna say, how do you take 15 grand off of this, right? You bring a C8 in, and looking at the sticker, you're like, what? Wait, so you mean to tell me that the C8 is still cheaper than the C7? They're gonna have to knock some more off of this.
Now, this guy's just sniping. They're just like, yeah, you keep lowering the price. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got to go to Gap Talk, man. We're gonna be over there at Gap Talk doing an interview, man. He's waiting on us. So thank you all.
Oh shit, really?
Us. Yeah, thank you all for joining us, and see you over at Gap Talk.
All right, peace.